something.
Yeah, you were a literal ghost. Anyways, did you want to join the prelim or not? I don't know. It's up to
I
you.
I was going to join the prelim. It's kind of sucks in terms of like downtime between rounds if we finish early, but we can. I'm sure we'll
Yeah,
fill that
but
time with something.
that downtime is good for going over replays.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
Um,
yep.
okay, I'll make sure I have tickets to join because I forgot to do that with like 3 minutes to spare before, and I do.
You have so
Um,
many chests.
I have a lot of trust. The thing is, like they were 2.5 or something like a while ago, and I didn't sell, and now they've created again, and I don't know if they're ever going to go back up in
No,
the near
they
future. So
will. It's cyclical. It's basically whenever a new set rotates or whatever. You just
okay.
have to figure out the pattern.
Well,
Um,
in the meantime, then I'm just thinking, are there any changes I want to make to this list
yep.
um,
Yep.
before the prelim? Because Tom had actually, so he and Kellen in the depths Discord, but you may have saw
Hmm.
we're discussing like what are the differences between the league meta, prelim meta, and like larger serious events. And given that I'm playing two larger events, I think I want to play the list which is targeted at that rather than.
Right. Hmm.
But I don't know what that means necessarily. I think it means if I don't expect that much elves, maybe the third engineer can go. And like I want some cards for snow still, or tundra
Hmm.
decks like maybe chokes, like a Talus track of Palace Jailer or something. I haven't actually been that impressed with Jailer against snow because of Corral, but
I think Jailer has not aged well, for what
yes,
it's worth.
I would agree with that. I kind of like choke just because it's another hammer you can bring in against Delver if you want to, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like fine against Omni Show and stuff.
Wow, that's the
Um,
best choke to use if you want to tilt people, by the way.
well, this is just mana traders giving me whatever they have. You know, this
Oh,
is
sure, sure, sure.
bargain basement chokes right here. So
Basement jokes. Anyways, by the way, welcome everyone to the stream. I'm hanging out with my buddy Dom Harvey, who I first met at a Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch, I believe. It's been a while.
it has. However, that hasn't stopped you from telling the story every time of how you drew your one Sony silence against me, Jarvis.
I wasn't going to tell it this time. I was going to set up for you to tell it about you.
Why would
See?
I do that? Why would I relive that trauma on stream
Well, you
for
just
all of your
did.
adoring
So,
fans?
you just did.
Well, you snookered me, Jarvis. You bamboozled me
I
into
did.
telling it anyway.
Well, to be fair, I do remember that you qualified with Amulet, right? For that event?
I did, yeah. But back when Amulet was actually good and actually had no bad matchups instead of that just being a meme.
No, Amulet
Um,
had like two bad matchups, but they weren't commonly played. It was like Infect and Grishol brand. You
which
know,
I played 3 times in our RPTQ.
you
Easy
played
to go
against
against
Grishol
it.
brand 3 times.
Yes, yeah, because a whole like team of local grinders. I should hop on this freedom. A whole team of local grinders decided that was a deck to play, and I just kept getting paired against them. And like playing my winner for the top 8, my opponent in game 3 plays a Totem of Blood Moon before I have taken a game action,
Yeah.
and then I win the game anyway because he fetched like he did pay attention to what land he played. He was just so giddy to land this Totem on Blood Moon that instead of fetching from a swamp, he just played his Black Eclipse and then never had a black source most of the game. And I just played lands. I Vesuvied my one forest, which was a play you could make back then to get
Yep.
around Blood Moon,
Mm-hmm.
and just cast X's and beat him down, and like got him for top 8, and then just went from there.
All right.
So that felt pretty good.
So it's 5:57. You probably should join the room. So we are watching Dom live because he will be playing 2 events this weekend. I will not be playing any of those. Instead, I'm actually going to play the historic arena qualifier.
Oh well, I may actually not be playing the Legacy Freedom given that we have 10 people, but
Yeah, but we can wait. This is the perfect time to shoot the shit, personally.
yes.
So
Also, in your tweet promoting this, you've just said plays Legacy with SEG Tour Dumb Harvey. Like I just am an SEG Tour.
oh yeah.
No
by
no
accident.
further no
No.
further elaboration required.
Look, you are the SCG tour now. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm glad someone else said it, you know?
Yo,
It
what's
sounds bad if
up?
it's coming from me.
We got Jonathan Zhang in the chat. We got Sneaky
I don't
Masado. We got Tom Hep himself, noted
Ooh.
Dark Depths Master.
Okay. You'd love to see it.
You love to see it. And we got Danny Batterskull, also a fan of Dark Depths. But I think
Absolutely.
I think he's a bigger fan of DPS and Vintage, to be fair. But that deck is not playable anymore.
I've been
Oh,
sending
what's up? Sidetrack is bad. You know what?
I've sent Danny a lot of like very tenuous Dark Depths lists over the past few weeks just to get his views. So I'm not surprised to see him in it.
You know, Sidetrack, I'm sorry that I left you out, but you can be a very important person in this channel. That's what VIP stands for here. I think we're 50-50 to get enough people.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if prelims are that much tougher than leagues from that standpoint, and leagues are more flexible, especially for streaming purposes. So that might not be the worst thing in the world, but either way, we'll figure it out.
So my personal opinion on prelims versus leagues is that the reason prelims exists is so you can get 40 QPs in a reasonable time frame.
Yes.
I don't.
I mean,
yeah, that's it, right?
we could just not have a system in which you need to go into a prelim to get enough QPs, but you know.
So Danny says, if you want to tech out a Rancor and Turbo Depths for all of the artifact nonsense, what's the cut?
What? But Rancor's kind of hard.
Yeah, but you don't have any way to tutor for it.
I don't know if Rancor's actually better than just like a rider consumption.
I think both are pretty bad.
I kind of like Right just because it gets you out of situations that no other card really could. Like against Snow, they have a wall full of collaterals and sorts of plowshares and stuff, and you just don't care about any of it.
You're up to 12 people.
Okay, Rancor and Hexmage is interesting.
Rancor and Hexmage, I see. Yeah, I'd pass on Rancor too. I think you can just do so much better.
Rancor on Hexmage is really good in Thera Spot Limited because you can also put Rancor on your other creatures, and then when they load up on their heroic thing, you just sack your Hexmage and remove all that counters.
Yeah, the problem with Right is literally Veil of
Summoner.
You're not. If you're gonna do anything like that, it has to be Fling or something like that.
Okay, I forgot about that, but that makes perfect sense. Just another card which gets bodied by Veil for no reason.
Okay. So the list I have posted is different from Dom's because I wanted to try things if I was going to play it, like Primeval Titan in the sideboard. But
yeah, I can bring up the list I was going to play here. So we can go over, if you like, just some of the big picture stuff, and then also the individual card choices.
So why don't you talk about how you feel about it first with an intro, and then I'll make some comments here and there.
So it's a deck that I've been working on for the past few weeks. I had enough QP to play one of the showcases last season and didn't have any other options, so I just loaded up the white-green deck I had from many months ago and added some Once Upon a Time and played that. And even though that list was a lot less refined, it was still went 6-2, still felt pretty good, even though like I was muggling literally a bunch and then also virtually because I just had these Mother of Runes in my deck that weren't really doing anything. And despite that, like the basic core of it still felt pretty good. And so I updated it, started playing it in leagues, and just like kept doing really well with it, and have evolved it to this point. And I think this list actually is, it feels really promising to me. Like, I don't know if in good faith I'd recommend it over just learning stock Rug Delver or something if you want to win a tournament. But for me, like I want to have fun playing Magic. This lets me do that maybe more than Rug does at the moment. Maybe that would change if I like really learned Rug properly. But I think this deck has a lot going for it. I was playing just Black-Green Depths, like slow depths for a while, and that deck felt pretty good, but then there were some inconsistencies there that I think this deck does address, even though I'm not sure it's productive to like line them up side by side and compare them directly. I understand though that, card liquidity and stuff and Legacy being what it is, like if you have a set of Dark Depths and stuff, it's natural to ask what can I use them in instead. And I think this is a really good candidate for that. Yeah, it looks like we're stalling out at 12 people here.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. So some of the issues I have with this deck, specifically White Green, the first time this deck popped up was right before or right after Renin 6 came out. Like versions of this deck, White Green, Naya. I remember there was just a bunch of opens where like all of the SCG grinders just played some variant of Dark Depths, You remember that?
Well, Jarvis, there was one Legacy open because that's how many we get in 2019. So at that one open, a bunch of people, myself included, played this White-Green deck. Lots of people played just like Black-Green of various descriptions, and then Kane in our chat top hated that event with the deck known only as Shrek.
I really despise that name because if you just say it to someone who's never played Legacy, they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And even if you're in the Legacy community, so few people actually know where that name came from. Yo, Fine Gersh, welcome back, friend. Oh, by the way, there's a special promotion on the cast nowadays, Dom. Do you want to know
Yeah.
what it is?
Let me have it.
For every 2 subs I get in a day, I have to open a paper booster and reveal every card of the booster pack to the webcam.
Sure. Is this like a special subscription service, or how does this work exactly?
No, I just have. You know what I was doing? I was cleaning up my house. You know how many random boosters I have in my house? The answer is a lot. You know how it is, right?
Yeah.
Um, but no, the other actually serious thing I'll get to is at the end of the stream, when you're still around, I will be doing a giveaway for a free entry to the Energy tournament on Sunday, which I believe you're going to play in, aren't you, Dom?
You could just give it to me as payment for my time.
I'll consider that, but I'll just enter you in the giveaway as well. You know?
Okay, perfect.
But to do that giveaway, you'll have to type in something at the end. Yo, Anzi D with the raid, the newest content creator on channelfireball.com. Maybe not newest, but also the newest member of Team Lotus Box. Shout out to Anzi D MTG.
Love to see it.
Did you like how I sort of turned that into a rap?
I did. You managed to get up to like 1/3 of the enthusiasm that Anurag gets you at his lowest point. You know that.
Oh
just
no! No! Dom throwing the shade on me. But you know what? It's okay because sometimes shade needs to be thrown.
Absolutely.
All right, so it doesn't look like it's gonna fire. How about we go over the, I don't know, the most recent league, you played with this deck, and talk about some interesting decision points and whatnot.
Yeah, we can do. Did you want to go over just the rationale behind the deck and its positioning and stuff first? Because we kind of cut off in midstream there with the raid from Anurag. Yeah.
So VTC LA, it's something I've been doing recently, and something I think that's useful for a lot of people is to go over your matches step by step with another person instead of just jamming more matches. I think that is a good way to actually really improve. And it's also pretty good content for people to watch. It might not be as exciting, but I think if you care about... Wow, that deck's not legal anymore. Yeah, there are 4 ban cards there, buddy.
Just a little ass spinning. Don't mind me.
Anyways, what I was saying is, yeah, I think just going through each of your matches one by one, and with honest analysis, okay, what else could we have done here and why? Or what reads did you have? What was your overall strategic thinking? All those things, I think communicating all of that is great. Oh, someone said, don't tell that to the Arena kids. Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch your replays on Arena. aka impossible! You know? Literally impossible. It drives me nuts. So something I've started doing when I play Arena matches is I just leave my OBS on. You can just record by yourself. You know? That's 5-head thinking, as the kids say. I'm pretty sure that's the right term. Right?
Possibly Poggers, Monka S, something in that. Something in that range.
No. Yeah. Keck W?
Yes.
I don't know. Like, seriously. I like Pokemilky too. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. Wolf E, thank you for the follow. And you know what? You just got done teaching for the day. All right. Let's Dom. Let us take a look at one of your matches. You know, y'all. We might go to a league later. You know, but I think it's worth discussing some of the matches he's played, at least to begin with.
Yeah. Let's. Do we just want to finish that thought from earlier? Because
sorry.
There was an open last year where it was the Renaissance format where a bunch of people played some variant of this, and it was, I think, a lot worse back then just because, first of all, it didn't have Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, I think it was just a lot less refined. But yeah, that's where the deck, I think, kind of came on the radar a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my win rate with Rug Delver in that format through various iterations was about 77%, which I think is extremely high.
Yeah, Delver was obscene for that tournament, and honestly, it's been like the S tier Legacy deck and like every other version of Legacy, and it's
I like how you said every other because I think that's actually 100% accurate. It's not actually every. It's actually
Yes.
every other, and I believe you're actually 100% correct.
Right, and it's like if you just bought into the Delver core and just played it at every Legacy tournament, I don't know how often that would ever be a mistake, really. Like it can only ever be so much of a mistake, and a lot of
Yeah.
the time you are just showing up with the best deck.
It,
Um,
I think sometimes it's a slight mistake, but not too much of a mistake because your deck is inherently very consistent and does like a relatively powerful thing.
there's also the thing where like obviously experience does count for a lot, and there's a lot of time
Yeah,
involved in
yeah,
learning new things. And so yeah, sometimes if you're one of the like the lands masters or the elves masters or whatever, sometimes that might be the actual best thing. But by and large, like if you can play Delver, just play Delver.
no,
Or
so both Bob told me for that tournament, the one I got very lucky at, that Lands was the best deck if you have any idea how to play it. And I'm like, okay, I don't really, but I'll just learn it on the fly. I mostly did that successfully, I would argue.
I did win back-to-back showdowns at face just playing
Yeah.
lands in the dark, and it was despite heinously misbuilding my decks, it was fine. Like it was pretty easy. But
Yeah, every
um,
time you've posted a Lands list, I look at it, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Your deck is like, well, okay, I'm not going to say completely misbuilt, but it is not the way I like to build my Lands decks, generally speaking.
sure. But yeah, so I think this deck it kind of has a lot going for it. So I'll just run over it briefly if that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. So the first thing is, like I mentioned once upon a time, I think this is definitely one of the best cards in the format, despite
Mm-hmm.
the stiff competition. And to me, one of the big appeals of this deck is that it is like firstly it gets to play once upon a time, which is actually like surprisingly hard to justify a lot of the time. Like even in elves, where it should be insane, you can't like there you have glimpse, you have zenith, you have natural order, all this
Mm-hmm.
other stuff, and it's hard to have too many copies at that point. This deck gets to run four, and I think it makes better use of it than most other decks, where like
Mm-hmm.
you have good creatures to find, like a land-based combo to find, and then sometimes you go like just Guardians, Plague Engineers.
Right.
Sometimes you just want to find a wasteland and you waste them. Like it is the best once upon a time deck. I also think the depth stage stuff is just fundamentally really good
I agree.
in Magic, also in Legacy,
Yep.
and finding a good shell for that, like I think, doesn't take too much work, and it just gives you so many wins where you really shouldn't be getting them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then at that point, like Reclaim has been fantastic. Safekeeper, I think, really helps a lot of your against a lot of the cards and decks that are tricky for you. And now you have like Zenith to find them, so you virtually have six copies. You can once
Mm-hmm.
upon a time for them and so on. And then Flagstones. This is a card I didn't have last year, which I really wish I did. Um,
Yeah.
like this card, like obviously is great with the claimer, and
Uh-huh.
I've been doing that in modern, and people are catching on to it there. Great with Safekeeper too, where sometimes they can like plow through your Safekeeper by just plowing a bunch of your creatures, and you have to just Armageddon yourself. And Blackstones makes that a lot more difficult. But then also, I found it's really good to make crop rotation like less risky against the blue decks,
Yep.
where it's a very high risk, high reward card. And if you can change that to like manageable risk, high reward, then crop rotation looks a lot better. It also means against a deck like Delver, where you're kind of both low on resources, you can much more aggressively take lines like rotate your flagstones for wasteland and just waste them. Whereas
Mm.
usually
Yep.
that's kind of tough because if it gets countered, then you're behind. And even if it resolves, you sacrifice your land, you're kind of behind. So I really like that aspect of the deck. So you basically get like these overlapping toolboxes of cards with lands and then creatures and so on, with also just like this very consistent, hard to interact with combo stable to it.
Yeah, so my thought process on a lot of that was, especially when you showed me the modern shell, and I'm like, oh, Reclaimer plus Flagstones makes so much sense. Then I thought about it more, and then when you posted this list, and I saw that, I'm like, wait, this actually does make a lot of sense for all the reasons you listed. Because I often do shave crop rotation, well, not in this style of deck, but in lands especially, sometimes crop rotation is not so good for all the reasons you listed. Like, you don't really want it to get Flusterstormed or Spell Pierced on a critical turn where you're like low on stuff. But now Flagstones removes a lot of the risk, like you said. So I think that's really smart and good. And with regards to the one spawn thing, I do agree. I think four is generally overkill in a lot of decks. Besides the Dark Depths, like the mid rangey, slower Dark Depths builds. Unfortunately, lands can't make great use of that card because that's not really the axis it interacts on, right? Like
Yeah, I've tried. It's tough to like tie the whole room together.
I think the decks are just a little bit too tight to fit in a card like Once Upon a Time, especially since you can't find an accelerant off of it in that deck. I think that's the real problem with it. If I could like Once Upon a Time into an exploration or some equivalent, and like it would have to be exploration level, not like Sakura Tribe Scout level, then I'd probably be for it, you know.
Jarvis, did you know you can once upon a time from Mox Diamond in the form of Arboreal Grazer?
Yeah. Did you know
even
that?
Zenith for it.
So did you know that if you do that, you can't pick up that land from Life from the Loam?
Yeah, I did.
And also, around these parts, we don't call it Arboreal Grazer. We call it Blocks Diamond. Get your terminology correct.
It's a Sloth Diamond, Jarvis. Come on.
Okay, Sloth Diamond. Sloths Blocks Diamond. That's the official name of it on this podcast / stream. I will not be taking questions about that right now.
And then in terms of individual card choices, obviously feel free people to like ask in the chat if there's anything, and then if Jarvis, if you have any questions. Someone's asking about Titania, yeah, the Safekeeper Titania combo is kind of cute. Ultimately, 5 mana is just so much, and like you often don't get that even in these longer games. And so like Zenithing for it's something that sounds good in theory, but it's just pretty hard to put together in practice. Same thing goes for like at one point I was thinking Primeval Titan and Field of the Dead as a plan against the Snow decks, and I've just never been that impressed with Field and Legacy. I think it's just too hard to make the resource requirement work. And the same thing kind of goes for Primeval Titan outside of that like Ancient Tomb Zenith deck that was popular for a bit.
Yeah, I've played a lot with Field of the Dead in various shells. I do think it's very good versus Snow, and that's probably the one matchup where that plan is like pretty good. And I do agree, if you want to play Field in this style of deck, you probably do have to play Primeval Titan. Although I don't really foresee yourself getting to like enough lands fast enough to like actually do it in a meaningful time frame, you know, because like at the end of the day, the Snow deck, it can turn the corner pretty damn fast. Like I don't know if you've actually played against it a lot. Its clocks are not slow. Like once it decides it wants to turn the race on, you know.
Yeah, and also they often have a card like Back to Basics or something where
right
at that point you are just not casting your Titan. Like it's not going to happen. So I think you mostly just want to keep the deck pretty lean and efficient. There's even stuff like Raminab Excavator, which seems like it should be really good in this deck. Mm-hmm. And I found that it was just kind of rare that I had time to find it. It lived and it was doing enough. And that's like a 3-mana card, which is fine in this deck. So like I could see that being in the 75 still because it does give you a bunch of options.
Yep.
But ultimately, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've also tried Excavator off and on in these sorts of like medium mid-range depth shells, and honestly, it is not that good unless you're doing something. I think the card it's actually the best with is Exploration, but that's not in your deck, right? You know.
Right.
I will say that Exploration plus Safekeeper plus Excavator is basically broken.
Yeah, I was going to try a deck that wasn't like explicitly lands, but had Exploration and then the Zenith package with your Safekeeper, Excavator, Titania.
You run into slots issues, and you run into like not having enough interactive cards issues is what I found in those types of decks.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I can see that, yeah.
Because your baseline's like what, like 25 lands, then you want to fit in all of these like tutors, and a bunch of your lands are colorless, and then like, you know, it's just there's a lot of problems. It sounds good in theory, then when you start sketching it out, you look at it and then you give up every time. Or that's my experience, rather. I just give up every time after I've written down like 45 cards, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why this instead of Turbo? The thing about Turbo, specifically Turbo, is that I think Turbo... I'll let Negator77 handle that one, but there's a lot of issues with Turbo that are basically that you have to mulligan to your combo, and Turbo is a deck that I think is pretty good if you are used to that playstyle, but I don't love that playstyle, so I don't play it. Like it's kind of more you got to poke a hole and take the hole and hope that they didn't top deck anything for a turn or two, you know?
Yeah, I'll let Negator make the case for Turbo. In my experience with, and admittedly this was with like slower depth, but my issue was Depths in general has like a very bad mana base. And it was actually a lot better in slower because you had like Once Upon a Time, and then I was running by the end like 11 actual untapped green sources, like
Mm-hmm.
peatlands, bios, cataclysms, and stuff.
Yep.
And it was still quite difficult to just cast my spells. And often, even though in theory the deck has a lot of resilience against Wasteland, often if they were just like Wastelanding your bio, that often would set you back so much time that it was kind of difficult to do anything. Um, Even if they weren't just holding it for depths, which often like you get to these mid game states against Rough Delver where you kind of had them in this pin, and then if they pond it into a wasteland or something, it would just undo all of your hard work. And I think with this deck, you have a much better backup plan in the form of like Reclaimers, more Reclaimers, Nine of the Reliquary. You have a lot of other stuff going on, which lets you manage that better. That being said, I think depth, like with black, is better against some of the combo decks, and like so there are certainly trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
So that does go both ways. I think you can actually like one thing you did, Jarvis, was you cut the white cards for green cards, which is a pretty good policy in 2020 Magic, I think. Like just leaving the knights in the main deck. But
Mm-hmm.
once you do that, like you can start exploring transplanting this mono green shell to other color combinations. Like I was talking with Danny earlier about what if you have blue instead for Brainstorm and Oko, but that, or like an Uro to Zenith 4 as well, submerges in the sideboard. Like that starts to sound pretty appealing. Or like you could still play black green with this core and like switch out Blackstones for Urborg and have Hex Mages like that. Maybe you can go that route too, but a lot of stuff you can do with it. I've been liking this shell for now, so I'll probably keep working on it until my results get worse. But for now, I've been liking this.
Yeah. So another really point I would like to make about specifically this deck is I think this is a very modern era way to build your depth deck. And what I mean is, if you look at a lot of the cards that have been newly put into it, they're mostly new cards that have broken the deck. Or rather, they're old cards that work well with new cards, Like,
yeah, like there's.
we haven't seen
Go
Flagstones in, like, I don't know, probably. I don't think I've seen Flagstones ever in Legacy without Smallpox in the deck, usually. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, like there's the broken 2019 stuff, like Once Upon a Time, and then there's also what I think is a design done right in Elvish Reclaimer, which is like a very powerful card, but it makes you think about how to get the most out of it, and like it's never doing anything broken itself, but it can kind of set up stuff, which is pretty good, and push that up a bit. So I really love that design. But the two of them working together, kind of really helps elevate the deck.
Yep. Yep. I'm excited to see how some of your games played out, and honestly, yeah, I don't know. This deck looks great to me. I do question the main deck Thalias, but that's more of a judgment call, I think, rather than anything else, right?
Yeah, I did have a main deck Tigers as an F target over the third Thalia in the leagues I played. My argument for Thalia and why it's been working pretty well for me is it's good against a lot of the stuff that kind of goes around what you're doing, like spell-based combo decks, whether it's Storm, Omni Show, like the Urza decks with a bunch of artifacts, whatever it is. I find it to be pretty good against like both Delver and Snow as well. Like once you add all of that up, that's a pretty sizable portion of the format. And then sometimes even when it seems like it shouldn't be good, it kind of is. Like sometimes against Elves in game one, like it means their Zeniths and Glimpses and stuff get worse, and also their creature combat plan gets worse. It's not great, but like it's just like a nice thing to pin your hopes on. And then against a lot of those decks, it's like a one card plan, if you like, that you can also set up with Once Upon a Time. So sometimes, you're not trying to, you would love to fast depth them and hope that that's good enough, but sometimes your plan A is just stick Thalia, and that's going to be good enough.
Right. Anyways, I think we've talked enough about this deck. Why don't we take a look at the last league you play with the deck and see if there's anything interesting. And let's ignore all of those Pioneer losses to VTCLA.
No, that was helping him test the Pro Tour. Okay, I gladly took my licks on that one. Let's just ignore this 1-2 in a cube as well, and even the win there was a disconnect, which we don't need to relive all of that. But let's find some interesting matches there.
Let's start with Echo Skuro.
Yeah, so that was against Sneak and Show.
Was he on Rogue Sneak, or were they on Rogue Sneak? Because I've seen them play really weird versions of the deck lately. But
I
let's.
think it was just like stock blue red, but let's take a look at this. Okay, so yeah, this game is like oh wait, stop. Yeah, this game is stop. Yeah, so this game is a pretty great advertisement for Thalia, where
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
I kind of have the nuts here with Kevin into Thalia, and then the impulse and response.
So you know that Impulse tells you a lot, right, about their deck?
Yeah, because it kind of gates how many other cantrips they can really have, because you assume they have full
No.
brainstorm. Well, what I'm saying is
Okay.
like they have full ponder, full brainstorm, full preordain as a
Yeah.
baseline, and that's when you start adding in copies of impulse. And so I'm assuming that would like box out cards like intuition or some of the kind of more
No, no,
fringe.
no. What Impulse actually tells you is they're a Cunning Wish deck.
Okay, because so they're just more intent on setting up the
Yeah, no,
combos and
no,
stuff.
because it's yeah, it Impulse is in the deck, so you can Fire Mind's Foresight for it off of Cunning Wish, off
Ah,
Omniscience. So that like literally Impulse tells you that they're either Omni Sneak or Omni Tail with red.
okay, yeah, that makes sense because I didn't actually see. I don't think I saw sneak attack this match. So
Yeah.
yeah, because I figured Volcanic Island. I hadn't seen like
Right.
I remember some lists from a while ago that had
Yeah.
red in Omni Show, but that makes a lot more sense. So yeah, that's the kind of thing which it's hard to like pick up on organically, but
Yeah, that's something that I would say is format specific knowledge, right? Which is obviously valuable. And uh, I obviously like picked up right on it. I'm like, oh, impulse. That
oh
oh, Narset is weird as
that
hell though.
yeah that kind of threw me too because I was like at that point I wasn't quite sure what was going on. I figured that maybe made it more likely it was Omni because NASA could find each piece of
Yeah,
what you're looking for.
right, right.
But I was still a little thrown at this point.
By the
Starting to
way,
wonder if actually it wasn't a show, if it was just like some other combo deck that wasn't on my radar.
no,
Um,
I don't think so. I don't think you put impulse. Well, I guess. By the way, I love that you main phase rotation that previous turn cycle.
yeah, I figure like it's not going to do anything different.
No, because
It would be weird for
right,
this to be
right.
a deck where like I need Bog or something, and
Well, also,
Caracas,
yeah,
yeah,
I don't want to rely on Crocus, and also this just kills them on the next turn cycle. So it seems obviously correct, right?
yeah, this is them just holding off a little bit, and then
Really?
I figured like even with Caracas, even if it is Sneak and Show, it's
Yeah.
hard for them to assemble like a line where I want Caracas, but I need exactly one activation. Because if it's Sneak, sometimes they just like power through your Caracas, but with Thalia in play, I don't think they can
No.
land
Yeah.
a Sneak and activate it exactly once to punish me for not having that.
Right. No. No. I like your play. I think your play is great right there.
Okay,
So,
game,
uh,
yeah, good.
why don't we just pause for a sec? Look at how you sideboarded. Right.
I can I do that from
Yeah.
the
You just right click view sideboard.
okay. This game is kind of uninteresting because I just get turn two to the nuts, I think, or turn three. Um,
So looks like you sided out a Sylvan, a Bog,
Silver Box and a Safekeeper.
and you sided in.
And
I get,
thinking what list this would have been. Oh, it probably would have been Choke,
okay.
Sword Choke, and I think there was a Deafening Silence for my board at this point. So I go for Thalia, and they have Soul and Show. I mean, I'm golden. I just die. Um,
Oh, you even had the knight. So if they
yeah,
would
like
have had, yeah.
yeah, I thought like, oh, maybe this is Sneak and Show, and they're just gunning it, but
All right,
no. And
you didn't
then
change anything. Just hit play one by one. I think.
the middle one or the
Uh,
leftmost one.
the middle one. The middle one.
Oh, okay.
The middle one's like increment a small amount. So what's our opening hand? Yeah, it looks great, right? I mean, this is yeah,
It's
this is
kind of
a
like missing a little bit of something. But I figured there were so many draws where there's just hand where this hand just upgrades the nuts. Um, and like I'm not sure exactly what I'm hoping to mulligan into at this stage. So because if it is Omnishow, then there's no like Zenith target that calls them. I mean, I guess I do have the Zenith here, but
yeah, yeah,
there's no like one card thing that just ends the game.
right. So I assume you get a shepherd. Yeah, that's what I would also do.
Yeah, I get the basic forest to play around Blood Moon, which seemed like was a possibility. Um, with that in mind, like,
Are you
did
beating Blood
I?
Moon? Like your deck isn't. Do you have Rex Agent?
Well, I do have the Red Sage, yeah. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's what kind of gave me pause
All right.
on
Sure.
using the Zenith on for this,
Mm-hmm.
where like in theory I could just lose the Blood Moon this way. Um, and like Shepherd can be good if I find something else, and like obviously Thalia is a big deal here. So I just rotate for Sage now.
Thalia was a nut straw there, actually.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I just undervalue Thalia. It's very possible.
The other thing that I forgot to mention with Thalia is I think it's subtly weak sometimes in like depth or Maverick decks because they get the opponent a lot of time to kind of fight their way out of it. And this deck really doesn't. Like often
Right.
Thalia
Right.
buys you a turn or two, and that's fine. That's all
Mm-hmm.
you want. So yeah, this is pretty elementary compare, just attack, and then they
Yeah.
kind of bluff me. I think where they play the tomb and then they try and like bluff wipe away when I go to attack, and then they just concede. So just keep me on my toes, and then
Yeah. Well,
that's that.
what are we gonna do? Not attack with our
Well,
2020?
well, yeah. Like obviously I'm shoving there, but
Yeah.
I like that they put me to the test a bit.
All right. What was Nedya?
Let's
His...
see. Oh, this was yeah. Actually, this one was good. This was Esper
Okay. All
Vile,
right. Sure.
which I think is a
Oh.
pretty
Okay. So let me tell you Tom's thoughts as Turbo versus Espervile. I think he hates the matchup. Um,
yeah.
I think it's pretty bad for stock like Turbo because a lot of things they can do are super 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 annoying. And
It is.
um, Fine Gersh, this is just an example of what I do in my coaching sessions, and also Dom and I need to catch up. We haven't seen each other in a long time. I think it's literally been almost a year now, right?
It's like what was the last team open you played?
Probably Philadelphia, like almost a year ago.
It might literally be that then. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So yeah, I think this matchup is potentially still rough for White Green, but it's one of those matchups which I think is actually true of like Rug Delver and excuse me,
hmm
Snow as well, where the skill of your opponent and their familiarity with the matchup like matters a great deal.
I agree
And
with that
so
100%. Yeah.
it's like I think this deck has a lot going for it against Delver. However, if I'm facing like Gordu Cat or Binu or any of the like people who cross with Delver, I'm not going to say it's a good matchup because I think that's just a very bold claim. Okay, so this was
So obviously blind, you have a bunch of decisions. Okay, do you want another land? B, do you want another threat? And night. What was the other choice? I don't remember. It was like night waste something.
I'll go back. Yeah, I
Yeah, that
just kind of skipped over that. This is where not having open deck lists kind of hurts a little bit
I
too.
agree. So that's one point I want to point out. I think open deck lists have changed the field of Magic quite a bit. It's a lot more strategic now than well, whether or not your hand happens to line up well.
Yeah, there's a theory piece I want to write about this when I get a chance of like I think especially in an open deck list environment, there's a lot of value to having a kind of diverse spread of cards with radically different effects.
I
So
agree.
like
Yep.
so one of my favorite things about Amulet Bloom back in the day was just the one-off Slaughter Pact. And not just because that opened up a lot of lines where you would like T-West for Slaughter Pact against Twin or Infect or
Yep.
something, but just your opponent knowing you had exactly one copy of that card, it was like it was very hard for them to play around it with a like balanced frequency at any
Yep.
time. And so they would
hmm
often either overextend into it or play in fear of it. And either way, if you could pick up on which direction to exploit that, you would get a lot of equity that way.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll click gingerly through until my once more time goes on the stack. Okay, so my options are
Oh,
basically just Night versus Wasteland.
yeah. I think
I,
it's
this is
kind
kind of
of.
interesting. I think against like Drug Devil or something, I want the Wasteland here.
Yep.
But it's tough to know in the dark if Night or Wasteland is better. It might be that taking that was incorrect anyway, because one limiting factor on this hand might be just like having mana to do things with. And especially with
Yeah.
Safekeeper, and Reclaimer. Like, there's a lot of value in just having a blank card with the word land on it.
Yeah.
So I think this may have been a mistake, but
So I actually think that's a mistake for the exact reason you're saying. I think if you just get another land into play, like have an extra land, you can just protect all of your creatures anyways. So I think it was a mistake to just get another threat. Oh, Mox is like, oh, having another land here would be a lot better
yeah,
than
like
the second night. Yeah.
Mox is kind of an insane draw as well, and maybe that's an argument for the wasteland, especially as also there are a lot of decks that have draws where one wasteland just cripples them. So
Yep.
I think that was a mistake in retrospect. Yeah.
Yep.
And so for that reason, I actually lead on the Safekeeper. I figure
Mm-hmm.
Delta Go is unlikely to be a combo deck, I think, and against
Yeah.
like this is probably something slower. At which point I want to be maybe using Reclaimer to find Cavern for my knights, and developing the Safekeeper so that I have a chance to do that, or I just like get Flagstones or something.
So on Delta Go, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not combo, but I guess your counterpoint is that if it were a combo deck, they're more likely to cast some cantrip on turn one, right?
I think so. And also, when I go like Savannah creature, that's likely to be a Thalia deck, at which point, if you have a card like Lotus Petal, it's probably best to
Sure.
put that one out there too.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, Jeff. Like, it is hard to balance your range.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think in general, honestly, like, for people playing games,
Yep.
but specifically around one-offs, especially when, like, you have the one slaughter pact, or the one pact negation, or other things, and you kind of see this come up in Limited a bit, where people will say, this came up in like Theros draft a lot, where the set was full of combat tricks, and so if you had 3 different combat tricks in your deck, that was a lot tougher to play around than 3 copies of the same trick, which maybe objectively is a little more powerful, but just having that flexibility was pretty good. Yep. So they go for like Island Plains Meddling Mage. So I'm assuming this is Vile, or maybe like the original Jeff Lynn deck from like 10 years ago that caused a lot of uproar.
Yeah,
it seems like it's probably Vile.
I think that Delta gives away. It's nice for you that they named a card that's not even in your deck.
Yeah, they tagged on this for a long time, which you can't really see in the replay.
Yeah, and
I was thinking, what if they just have a Soul Read on Night here? Like, that would be kind of screwed, but...
oh, this worked out well for you, because now you get to play your Knight protected and kind of just beat them down with your 3/4, right? I assume that's the plan?
Basically, yeah. I'm not even really trying to assemble depth this game, I think.
No. I don't think that's a good plan. I think just killing them is a much better plan, you know? What did they get?
Is there a way to? There's a way to bring up.
Yeah,
the chat, right?
just click. No, click the eyeball. Next to go to their avatar, hover right below it on the eyeball, and click that number 1.
Oh yeah, okay. So they get Palace Jailer.
Okay, that's kind of weird, actually, right?
It's weird because it's just against the onboard Safekeeper.
Yeah, I don't.
And also, my stuff is so big that I'm just going to get the Monarch trigger. Like, I'm just going to.
I know. I was just thinking. Wait. Does this even make sense? I don't think it does. Right?
I don't.
Yeah, I feel like this is just a game. Also, you could just go wasteland them if you wanted to.
That's what I was thinking, and it actually comes up. I'm not sure if it's this game or game 2 where they recruit for Peacekeeper, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's a catastrophe potentially. And I have to waste them off it, but. They have Charming Prince. Is it here?
Tom, I don't think this game 1 can beat Peacekeeper with enough basics to pay for its upkeep in game 1.
Yeah, here we go. So they get Peacekeeper.
Yeah.
But because I have 2 knights, I can waste them off Caracas and Scrubland. So I draw a wasteland naturally, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then I use the other knight, I think. Yeah. So now I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping they break.
Okay, I see. So, but also you're abyssing them pretty fast, which is also nice too, because they're literally at 8. And how big are your knights? Oh no, you just Sajiri stepped them.
Oh yeah, I do. Okay, yeah, that's
of course. Good. You just have actual lethal. Why bother doing anything else when it's just lethal?
I think I may have realized that. I may have realized that in the middle of the turn.
Oh sure. But it's better to realize it than not realize it on that turn.
But this is the kind of matchup where I was like, how do I process that result where I believe main deck Peacekeeper is stock at this point for Vile, insofar as that deck has stock card choices.
Yeah.
But it's like if they just immediately get that one first, I'm just dead. Like there's no I'm pretty sure. So how do I chalk out that result? Where like if my opponent just made the obvious line,
So
I
I
was dead versus
well, I think that's an advantage to you playing white green right now because it's not heavily played. So you're basically reaping the rewards for playing a slightly off meta deck, right?
it is. I worry about that for something like the energy where it's open deck list though.
Oh, sure. What you can probably say is that if your opponent looked at your deck list in game one, saw that you were cold to Peacekeeper and just got it first, you should chalk that up as a loss if you care about
Yeah.
keeping track of that sort of data. Personally, I think that's like a lot to keep track of. Um, I would just be aware of it, but not really let it affect things too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's why like when I'm posting my own results and when I see someone say they went like 50-0 in leagues or something,
Yep.
I'm always like, well, does that have an asterisk by it? Because like, what does that really mean? And
Yep.
I'm far more interested in seeing someone say, yeah, I went like 15-0, but effectively it's 12-3 with perfect play, whatever that's supposed to mean, and then actually analyzing their results instead of just you know.
Is there
Um,
some bullet you can play to trump Peacekeeper? If you really wanted to, yes. I think the answers are just the cards that you would play to do that sort of thing are really not very good most of the time, for what it's worth.
it would have to be like a Wicked Wolf or something, right?
Yes, in green, like
Or,
I
or
think.
actually, I've kind of wanted a blast into the 75. And
Oh,
that,
you could play Blaststone. That's more reasonable, I think, than Wicked Wolf, for a lot
yeah,
of reasons. Like, I don't believe Wicked Wolf is a legacy playable card. Is the
no.
main reason.
So this turn, I could wasteland them off a second land, or develop Knight. I figure with two vials, that I'd rather just stick the Knight,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm putting myself quite far behind at that point.
Yeah.
But these vials are also kind of doing a number on me, and that's why
Well,
I didn't board in the Sage for this game that I think I should have, and maybe it's worth going over sideboarding quickly.
so um, this was the list with two Thalias, right?
Yes, yeah.
Um, one other thing you could do, and I'm pretty fond of, is in these matchups, I would probably just go to one Dark Depths. It's so unlikely to work versus this exact opponent.
Yeah, I did that a lot when I was playing lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds right to me. I don't know if I'm doing that if I want to keep in more crop rotations, but like what the alternative is. Like obviously we want the Sage.
Yep.
I think I boarded the token for game three. I guess we can cover that when we get there. But
Well, so what did they get with the recruiter here? I'm curious about that.
so they got Soul Herder,
Okay, this is going to be a hard one to win then.
right? I think I actually misplayed this turn as well.
So you wasted them.
Yeah, I wasted them, held up the Knight for you know reactive purposes, and then
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about effectiveness. I don't know
So
if I'm meant to be reading anything into this file going up to two. I assume that's just like generic line in a deck that doesn't have that many one drops.
no, their deck has no. It like has Mother of Runes, I think, but that's it, right?
Sure, sure.
So
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
what I'm looking at here is I'd probably just see if they're dead to Merit Age personally, because I think it works out exactly that you have enough mana for that. You float a green from your forest, knight it away for a stage, and float a white from your Flaxlands, crop rotate it for depths, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
think I definitely should have done that.
Like my intuition is you should do that because this game looks horrendous for you if you let it last too long. You know?
The other thing too is that with a vial on three being tapped, I think it's actually a lot easier to force that through because
Yep.
it means no flicker wisp, no. I'm not sure what the other choices are necessarily, but like no flicker wisp, I think is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I don't know if there's a two they can get that would mess that up if they get to flicker their recruiter.
Um, I mean, they could. Hmm. I would have to know the exact. The problem is the exact file list matters a lot because there's a lot of things they can do that are goofy. You know, like It depends on the
Yeah,
exact construction of their deck, right? And I don't know that well enough, especially because people do slightly different things, you know.
I think I figured that like there is a chance there that the Soul Herder was their kind of big payoff, and they're just sitting on maybe some reactive cards or some stuff where their draw actually isn't going to develop that well, and so I would have time to set up protection with the knight
Right.
versus just like shoving now and losing to a single sword.
Yeah, I don't know. I would probably just shove now because I think it sucks all around. But yeah, so now you could cast your engineer.
Well, I can, but it's I guess I can just get the bio. Did I do that here?
No, you probably say go. It looks like you're saying go, right?
I imagine so. Yeah, I figured if I'm doing this, it's better to like hold the engineer back so that I can like surprise them with it. But then there's an issue that crops up where because I don't have a scrubland in my deck, I actually lose the ability to find all of the lands I want to, where
Yeah,
I'm not going to have a black source
yeah, yeah.
or the forest left over to sacrifice tonight. So now this goes up before they put in Jailer, I think. Yeah,
So you have to Sejuri step.
possibly. I let this go maybe?
Oh
So
no,
this
you
gets
you rotate for another Savannah, which I think actually does make some sense.
no. I flag zones for Savannah, and then
Oh
I do
no,
get the
you find
step.
Savannah. Okay, this actually does make sense, I think, but it looks like they have another interaction spell,
So what do they get? Yeah, they flicker wisp.
Recruiter.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow, this game got really complicated all of a sudden. Um, so now I guess you're activating stage on
so now
depths. Yeah.
so now I'm making it now, but this is like giving them more time, and I still don't have protection on this turn cycle.
Yeah. So basically, we had to go for it eventually through no protection. Period.
And this actually is
Yeah.
bad now with wisp because I've used my step, and also I can't engineer down both the flyers,
Right.
so they definitely get to fog for a turn.
Right. Even drawing a plow is not good enough. I think the problem is because you'd have to plow the flicker wisp, which was at 23, and engineer the birds. Right.
Yeah, and yeah, my Zenith gets forced. I go for the engineer, I guess, just to buy time, but this is bad now because they get to soul her to. What was I thinking here? Yeah, I do this to force them to lose the soul herder, the flickers, because otherwise they soul herder that and then they get my merit page.
Yeah, but I think the soul herdered palace share might be good enough to win the game by itself. Personally,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
like it. I mean, I don't. They should go after your. Yeah, that makes sense. And then
So what happens here? Oh yeah, they bile in an engineer and just get everything,
oh, that's not
and
great.
I just pack
So
it in at that
yeah,
point.
okay,
Yeah.
sure. You're dead here. Yo,
Yeah.
Fornia, welcome back, friend.
I thought you said Fournier.
No, it's for NIA, so Fornia. All right.
Welcome back.
These games are really interesting. Actually, I think this is probably the most interactive one of the most interactive matchups. You know,
I think that's right. Yeah.
I definitely having watched these games already. I think you could play this matchup probably like 20 times, and it would come out slightly different every time. If I had to
I
guess.
agree. I think like even when you lose, the games are mostly pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, but then so sideboarding here, I have the uh, I still have one depths out, fog out. I brought out the diamonds because I figure the game's going to go quite long, and I'm likely to need every resource. And just getting this Flickerist is kind of a disaster.
Okay, so I can sort of agree with all of that. I would just caution to count your green count before doing that. I think
Yeah,
since you have four savannas in your deck, it might be okay. Like you have a lot of green sources compared to most Mox Diamond decks. I
I
think.
have. I think it's 11 turn one green, and that's not counting like Cavern for Reclaimer or anything. So to
Okay,
me, that was what I had in mind with the mana base is being able
sure.
to have enough turn one green even when I have to board out diamond.
Okay,
Um,
that's great then. Then I think a plan like this makes a lot more sense.
So I might go
Yeah.
7 into this, which is pretty good. And then
Oh, phenomenal 6 card hand.
what do
Uh,
what do I put back? I think I put back the depths actually.
I would.
No, put back Rex Age. Okay.
It's either depths or Rex Age, in my opinion, and it really depends on how dependent you think their deck is on Aether Vial, personally.
Yeah.
And the answer is very. Like, you saw how clunky their deck is.
Yeah. I figure here I run out of Reclaimer. I could wait and try and like send it for Safekeeper first,
Nah,
but
that's
I
so
want
slow.
I can still
Yeah.
do that, and because I have these rolled up, I'm actually fine if they want to spend a plan on this right now. I think.
Yeah, like the counterpoint to that is, what if you just draw another 2 or 3 drop spell you'd rather cast? Like, not casting your thing on one, I think is pretty bad.
Yeah, drawing the step here is pretty catastrophic because obviously they don't know about it, so I can try and bluff it. But if they have to go for it, then it's just going to work because I don't like I can't reclaim or rotate for step. So what
This
do
has some
I?
real vibes of the Knight of the Reliquary decks in Standard that played Sajiri Step.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I actually was thinking that when you killed your opponent with Step in that first game, that was some classic BS from that Standard format, actually. uh, you know,
The
good times all around. So I imagine you pass, and then you probably just rotate away the Flagstones to go get something, right?
Yeah, it is funny to me that one of the best decks in that format was called Mythic, and now literally everything is called Mythic. So
Yeah,
we've come a long way. But so I think they just pass here. They marshmallows, they get basics, and they just play Charming Prince. So to me, that suggests a hand which has like a lot of threes and
yeah.
is terrified of getting base landed because this is a pretty weak start otherwise.
Mhm.
So they scry 2 to the bottom, which I
That's a
don't.
great sign for you, yeah, obviously.
Obviously, a great sign. I don't think it means anything in terms of my sequencing at this
No.
point. But so I get Savannah, I get Flagstones just to run this back, and um, I guess there was an option to just like get a stage and then have like both combo pieces in play when I pass a turn. I figured maybe this is wrong. I figured against a start like this, I have the time to try and set that something up. But a start like this also means that the hand has a lot of action in it, and maybe I need
Yep.
to put the screws to them before they have time to do that. And if I just pass with stage depth on board, they really can't like tap out for a sorcery or anything. So maybe they just have to pass a turn, and I think that's pretty good for me still.
Yeah.
So maybe this was an error. I don't know.
I was thinking about this exact thing. I think you shouldn't do this because I think it there's a reasonable chance that they have an engineer in their hand based on how the
Yeah,
game's played out.
and spoiler
Um,
alert, that's what happens. But
yeah. Oh, so basically, for those of you who are at home, what Dom and I both observed is it's very likely our opponent has 3 drops in hand because they played Charming Prince to no effect on turn 2, but they had the ability to fetch any colored mana sources in their deck. The only reason you would do this is either if your hand is bad or full of threes, and you just want to get more 3 drops out of the way because you don't want to draw more 3 drops. Because like at some point you will want to cast 2 spells in one turn. So the most likely thing to happen, I think, on this turn is either Soul Herder, which doesn't do much. You don't really care about that, I think, or Plague Engineer, which you do care a lot about and is very reasonable for them to be in their hand. You know,
with that in mind, I was kind of thinking, does it make sense to just attempt Zenith the Night?
I was thinking about that. I kind of think that might have worked because they didn't plow your turn one Reclaimer, right?
Yeah, it would work in that sense. And then
Yeah,
also, if they don't plow the Terran Reclaimer, that's another argument for just having stage depths on board and passing, right?
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it's more likely I can gun it if I want to.
Yep.
So I think I actually like took the worst possible line there.
Yeah.
I think even passing with the intention of just casting once upon a time may have been a better line in that spot.
It might have been just leaving up stage depths activation, but if they like say go with a white open, then you basically triple ported them or whatever and cast your impulse, right?
Right, and so they had flat Flutterstrand.
Yeah.
So unless they like kept the one lander and drew the second one, that
Mhm.
suggests they could have fetched like any reasonable permutation of basics here, and
Exactly.
they fetched from a set of island, and I think there were more like blue cards in their deck that you would want to get naturally anyway.
Yep.
So to me, I think this should have been a loud signal that they have engineer, and so
Yep.
I kind of took the line that walks into that.
So I think my brain might have subconsciously registered that. I didn't say it out loud, but that it seems very likely that you're about to get engineered to me.
Yeah.
And also, actually, the one more thing you can read into their land drops is since they fetch for 2 basics, you know they probably have at least 1 or 2 more lands in their hand because you can't fetch that many basics and have your deck operate unless you have
Yes.
more lands in your hand. So what I would first read 3 drop first. Second, I would read they have probably the ability to cast all of their spells, which means probably 2 more lands in their hand.
See,
Personally,
I actually disagree on that second point because when I pass with Reclaimer Flagstones open,
yeah.
I can easily just find a wasteland and waste them. So it
Okay,
may
sure.
and then putting 2 to the bottom with Prince suggests to me they kept like a 2 lander with the 2 fetches and a bunch of threes, and they need to find a third land, but they know because they're land light, if they get a duel, I'm just gonna find waste them and then threaten the same
Okay,
thing again next turn.
sure. So maybe they don't have a fourth line necessarily. Yeah.
It's like weirdly polarized, right? Where they either have a bunch of spare lands or they have no spare lands.
Yep.
This is okay. Let's talk about this. So they attack with their Charming Prince. I now have the option, which I do think they cottoned onto because it would make sense if I only had 2 flagstones in my deck. There's no way I can take this line. But I block and then I reclaim for another flagstones, legend
I
roll,
know. I was about
and
to
get the
say.
three.
I was about to say.
So
But really, what this accomplishes is it gets you a 3/4. It's not that exciting, but I mean, like, how much does that Charming Prince even matter? I would argue not that much. I mean,
it really doesn't, especially because I can't really attack with this
exactly,
reclaimer into the engineer anyway. And so I'm
exactly.
like, I'm stunning my development, and then also, if they have surgical extraction, this is a catastrophe that I've just walked into. So
Yeah, I don't think I would have done this, even though I do. I was about to say, oh, that's cute. You can reclaim for another Flagstones. I'm not sure that's actually good.
no,
Uh,
so I think that's a good example of like you
the,
have this opportunity to gain value, but it doesn't really account for
yeah,
anything.
no, no.
And so at this point, I play out my second combo piece and pass, and now
Hmm.
they are in a pretty tough spot, I think.
Yeah, so now you're porting their white source, essentially, is how I would put it.
I'm putting their white source, and if they do pass with the white source, I'm just going to once upon a time
Yep.
and
Hmm.
Reclaimer, or I can Sage something if I want to instead.
Yep. Yeah, you have plenty of good options. And in fact, and look at that white source they're leaving up. Look at that.
Hmm.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
look at
so
that
now,
tasty tundra.
yeah, so this is interesting because now I just get to like onboard Reclaim for Wasteland.
Yep.
So I don't know if playing out the Tundra what that means for them. Maybe it was just an error on their part, but like you try to think through the possible reasons for it, right?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
so I decided to just fire it up. I don't think there's an argument against it really. It could be they're sandbagging Caracas and they want to like draw out a wasteland here, but Reclaimer right now represents another wasteland if I just have one for my deck. So what do I do here? I
You
think
you
I
pass
pass.
again to port their white source. It looks like, or do you play the knight?
I play the knight, yeah.
Okay, that's reasonable. I guess if they have a plow, they'll use. Well, they might use the plow on your knight. We don't know for sure.
Which I really need them to do because I have a 7 hand.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Uh, it is really funny.
And
They
they don't
don't
do
do
anything.
it.
Oh, they just tap out for jailer. Yeah, okay. So I was a little worried about this actually, because it does
Uh,
play into their hands here. And so now this is a pretty awkward spot where what do I do? I send with both. Yeah, I think I want them to trade off the engineer because that means that I can Zenith for Safekeeper again if I
yeah.
want to.
So the one problem with that, and I think it's pretty obvious that this is a problem, is if you do that, you give them another turn cycle to draw an extra card off their jailer, right?
I do. What would the other line be? Do you think?
Uh, I'm not
Yeah.
sure attacking with both of your things is good.
Well, I mean in terms of like they're getting another card off Jailer anyway, right?
Right. I guess you couldn't really do anything about it. So yeah, if you're planning to do that, playing once upon a time first obviously makes sense.
So I think with that in mind, given that Jailer is a possibility,
Mm-hmm.
was the previous turn a mistake, like playing the knight rather than just holding out stage and depth?
So yeah, that's a great point because there's a very real chance that they just don't even cast their jailer because they assume step is in your deck, which is a logical conclusion, right?
Yeah, and it's actually okay. Like, well, yeah. So if they have Jailer and instant speed interaction,
Yep.
then they do that, and they might believe that they can buy themselves another turn cycle to like, let's say, play Jailer with swords up if it's just a holding pattern where we're both passing.
Right.
But yeah, but whereas this just gives them free license to tap out for their Jailer. Um,
Yeah, so I'm sort of believing that that's a mistake by this point. Actually, the previous turn cycle playing the knight out.
I think so. Yeah.
It the weird thing is I don't think they play more than two jailers. If I think they actually generally only play one, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Obviously. Um,
Yeah, so I went from feeling like really good about my spot to pretty bad over
yeah.
the course of that turn. I figured there was a decent chance I was getting engineered again here, which is kind of lights out. I mean, maybe not if they just have nothing, but I'm
Yep.
assuming that um, the way they play strongly suggests they have a sword.
Yeah, but at least now you can beat the swords.
Right.
I think really what they're actually supposed to do here is just main phase plow.
On the safekeeper, just a stone
Yeah,
range.
because all of your plows have to go after the safekeeper anyways. So if you do it on
Yeah.
your turn, it at least like wastelands you for every land that you use to do that,
I was
right?
thinking, I'm trying to remember, I might Zenith for Arbor
I
here?
was thinking the exact same thing because that's just another layer of protection, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
I hope you did
Did
because
I? Am
like
I a
the
coward? Yeah, I'm a
I don't know.
coward. Sorry,
But
Jarvis.
well, okay. It's not a matter of being cowardly or not. I think your logic is probably well. If this fails, I need to get value off of the zenith to get something real. But I think if this fails, you basically lose. So
Yeah.
really, what you're doing is wasting a card.
Also, it's like it's hard for them to actually have that many plows because if I,
Yep.
yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
yeah. So they use the first plow, Savannah down, and then I still have two lands in reserve, so they recruit up Peacekeeper. So now I just have to just shove, and it is shoving because
You'll
I
have yeah.
the difficulty is if they have swords and they can fetch up a white source, I have to step my Marriage through the Strix, at which point if they swords the Marriage, I can protect it with Safekeeper, but then the step doesn't work anymore because
I
it is
know
Shroud,
that.
not Hexproof. And that comes up an
Yes,
awful lot actually.
it does
Um,
come up a lot, but you just have to take your medicine here.
this is where the chat suggestion of Elvish Herder actually sounds kind of genius, right? For spots like this, right? You just like set up a herder and get them, but
I'm gonna
um,
relook up that card. It's been a while.
yeah.
Oh my god, what a card! Is that from like Onslaught?
Like Urza something, right? Elvish
Urza Saga is
something
the
or other.
gears. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Tom, you seeing this tech? We're discovering new technology.
So
We're
yeah,
at
so I just like desperation last
yeah.
step and it actively works and I get the GGs and so I kind of steal a game which I think I kind of threw away honestly. Um, but yeah, so that was that.
So
That was a pretty interesting game though.
So I think you misstepped a few times, but fortunately they only had one plow. Actually, I think you did beat two plows with your draw there. You wouldn't have beaten engineer plus plow though, which is
No,
whatever. But
well I beat Plow if see the interesting thing there is because I no longer have a Reclaimer or the Knight on the board,
mhm.
then the possibility of a step is actually much more remote. So it kind of makes sense for them to fire off a plow to constrain my resources.
Yep.
But that means they now lose to step in hand, which I don't know if they could have divined I had that based on how the previous turns went.
I don't think they can.
It does seem though, right? Like let's say I do have a step in my deck. Why would I just all out attack with my things into the death touch creatures when it seems
Hmm.
like there is a good case for just holding the step, holding the knight up, right, to get the step.
That's fair, actually. Hmm.
I mean, it's so hard to put me on that exact one card, right? But
It's basically impossible, I think, right there.
yeah. And it's easy for me to say knowing that I had that, but that's a really interesting spot, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so we can keep going here if you like.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no. What was Darius 89 playing? Do you
that
remember?
was Hogak. I'm looking at the things now, so that wasn't too interesting. I played against Strifer against the
Okay, let's watch
quarterfinal.
that. So, it's my opinion that I think Strifo's deck is not the best versus depths, even though he has 4 trophies in his main deck. However, the counterpoint is he has 4 trophies in an 80 card deck. So like it's the same as a functional 3, and it's not like our deck can't beat Wasteland. You know what you're in for when you queue into Strifo, right?
Yeah, I just like I
Okay,
knew
all right.
in like a big picture sense what I was in for, and then I went on MTG Goldfish, and it's just like 5 pages of the same 4 color deck, like 2 or 3 cards different.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Strifo is pretty good with his deck. I think it's okay to play that deck. It's an okay deck in that it's basically snow control and it does some really powerful things. I don't know. I like to draw brainstorm more often than not personally. So
It is a super cool deck. Like I'm glad
yeah,
that someone is having success with it, um, regardless of those. But I do agree that it's a little weaker to these lands strategies, especially against the card wasteland. Whereas like against snow, often you just don't get a chance to wait them, and against Drivo Pile, like you're guaranteed to get a good wasteland in somewhere. So
yep.
um, like once upon a time, I find
Uh,
stayed. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Specifically, since you know he doesn't have white in his deck, uh, the actual stage depths is a lot stronger.
Yeah, that too.
Yep.
Like especially as well, like against snow, you're kind of trapped between swords and oko, where often there's a window to make a merit age, but then you get okoed or vice versa. Whereas against striker deck, they don't have oko either. So if there's a window where trophy is not online, you just make merit age, and it basically is guaranteed to live outside of like the one brazen borrower in the 95. You know.
Wait, Jason Mind Sculptor, right?
Oh, there's Jace, sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I think he also has one Caracas, but honestly, like with all these one-offs versus an 80 card deck, I think more often than not you should just be like, all right, whatever, you got it, buddy. You know?
Yeah, I think it may have been a mistake to play the safety route early because if he decides to just like tag it with a punishing fire or something, I don't know if I can really afford to protect it.
Yeah, so I was about to bring that up. Especially since you don't have a 3 drop in your hand and might have been correct to wait. This actually comes up a lot playing the slower depths, the slow GB depths deck as well. That playing Safekeeper on 1 is not always that great. Because, like, just imagine if Strifo casts Fatal Push on turn 1. I don't think you can afford to protect it, right?
Right, yeah, and Fatal Push is
Yeah.
Fatal Push in particular is a big deal because if this was like a white deck where I'm kind of happy if they have to use the swords on my safekeeper, whereas
Yep.
I don't want to make a push better than it is normally, right?
Yep.
As it turns out, I draw fact zones, which is just the nuts for protecting
Yep.
my stuff here. And I was actually like I was kind of like toning off from something, so I just ran my safekeeper into a corral, which was like clearly telegraphed it.
Yeah, it was pretty telegraphed that you were
So
but whatever.
let's just pretend that never happened. And
Well,
then
sorry, the entire internet got to see. So one big dynamic in this matchup that's changed from before is the presence of Uro can often put them above 20.
yes,
Not as big of a deal here because you get to whack them with your Thalia, once or twice. But in specifically when I was testing snow control versus like turbo or slow depths, I was actually feeling pretty fine as long as I had Plow in my deck. I could let them hit me once pretty often and be fine, which is a
yeah,
really bad situation for them, I think.
yeah. It's a tough thing, especially I think for black green because often you have to hold your hex mage until a certain moment, so you can't like deploy it to start pressuring them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I figure with this spot though, with like the fetch land here, and I'm getting a Thalia attack in at some point, I think.
Yep.
Oh, actually, yeah, this was an interesting turn where there was a window where they could have just escaped Uro. And I thought if that happened, I was probably going to lose the game, perhaps. I mean, maybe not. I can just like make merit age and hope,
But they did escape Burrow.
they did escape Uro. What happens? Oh, I think I went into Caracas. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good for you, actually.
Oh, and I actually get to follow up with Zenith for Safekeeper as well.
Wow.
So So
Yeah.
despite just like
Yeah.
spearing off several cards and being dead on board, I actually start to like my spot again. Um, and now, yeah, I wasn't sure here if I meant to attack Dak, given that I can't kill it on this turn cycle, or make sure that I bring him to a low enough life level that Uro doesn't give him a buffer. Like maybe I can split the difference on that somehow. Um,
You can't, I think, right?
I don't think so, but yeah, I make Marrowlage now because
Yep.
Trophy's not up, and now I have Safekeeper Shields.
Yep. I don't know. I think specifically his deck has a really hard time from winning this spot because he doesn't have white in his deck. But even like a white based control deck would have a problem here. I think actually the way you lose that game is if he has exactly Toxic Deluge for one, and then Brazen Borrower you're a creature, or like Caracas your creature or something, right?
Right. And the most recent Goldfish list I looked at, I think all the non-deluge cards there were in the sideboard. So the main deck in particular seemed pretty soft to this. So perfectly fine hand here. We've got the Knight. Got the Cavern, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
So I won, and then here I think I meant to just take Shepherd, but I don't know if there's maybe an argument for like doubling up my Cavern.
Let's see. So Safekeeper is a human wizard, right?
Yeah, I did the creature type check, and there's no real overlap. I think given the fact that Shepherd kind of does the same thing as a Cavern, that maybe it makes more sense just to take that, especially if I have this Zenith that I want to force through. But it is worse hypothetically against like Punishing Fire, so I don't know if that's a consideration. That said, like I have 2 and potentially 3 1-drops in my hand. I don't really want to be slow playing against the threat of a possible Punishing Fire, which without a Grove to follow it up in the 80 card deck is not that much of a concern anyway, right? So I think I just start playing my cards.
I think my gut is to take Cavern and name Human, personally.
Okay.
But it's not unreasonable to take the Shepherd, I think, and play it off Savannah, which is what you do. Oh, no, you play Proclaimer. Of course. Well, actually, is it of course? I guess if it lives, that means both of your next spells are uncounterable unless if this...
It's weird, right? Because
I don't know.
Once I have face up Shepherd off the ones, if you have a forcible, you just have to fire it, right?
Yeah,
unless you're looking to set something else up.
Well, either his hand's flush with removal, which is how his deck is sort of constructed, or he doesn't have a force, right?
Yeah. Is there an argument from their side for like shaving forces in this matchup?
No. I mean, I don't think so, because like think about it this way. If I looked at your deck list and knew it straight up, I still wouldn't cut Force of Will.
Yeah. Force of Negation you probably do, right?
Oh yeah, I think Force of Negation's not great. Like it I mean obviously if you tag a crop rotation with Force of Negation you feel great, but I don't think it's great besides that.
And yeah, maybe this is the case for not taking a Shepherd, is that like in a scenario like this, I kind of just want to have more lands to do stuff with.
Yeah, and the other thing is like I mean the Cavern and the Shepherd basically do the same thing, right?
Yes. Yeah. So here's collateral, and I get Faxons now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the most recent list on Goldfish had a Shadow of Doubt.
I was about to say, did you know that he has this blue black hybrid card? And I'm like, wait, why would you do that? You must have known. You must have looked at that deck list and known about it.
Just big brain, you know? But
yeah, big brain.
That's exactly the kind of thing I was talking about with like the game theory point earlier, where one Shadow of Doubt just strikes fear into the hearts of men. You know, there's no good way to, to play around that.
No, because if you get your Reclaimer activation Shadow of Doubt, it's horrendous.
Oh, it sure is, yeah. So... Okay, so I'll stop here. So at this point, I can Cavern like on Elf to just have a green source for my Shepherd so that I can also play Zenith and force it through. But that seems like it's wasting a Cavern that if my Shepherd dies, I want to use for the Safekeeper and the Knight. So I decided to just like throw the Zenith into the more of a potential forcible or something. It's got to be kind of weird from his standpoint, thinking like Shepherd is face up, and I'm just not playing it, and I'm also just casting these spells that could get countered. So I don't know what he was making it up from the other side. Um,
So personally, if I was in his spot and you did this, I would just assume you have a knight in your hand.
okay,
Like, doesn't that just make sense?
yes. So at this point, that resolves. I get a reclaimer,
Yep.
and now I get to Cavern Human for safety. And so now I feel like I'm kind of fading engineer again. And if that doesn't happen, I like my spot. Here's the engineer, obviously.
Yeah, it's so much harder to play against cards from his deck because there's like one of all of them, and he's an 80 card deck, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So what do I? Yeah. So I just play knight.
yeah.
Okay with that.
God
And this is
damn.
another spot where like I want to have two of these in play to force removal.
Yep.
Because I can also set up like Shepherd into Crop Rot into stage if it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Grove. And at this point, I'm a little scared of P-Fire. Because like if that hits my reclaimer, it's so risk. But I draw stage, which is a great draw.
Yeah,
Happy
like
about
I
that.
think your opponent's just dead now because you drew that stage. Personally,
Yeah, like I have several layers of protection right here, which is nice.
well, the one card you don't have protection against is Caracas, right? Oh no.
Correct. Okay, so
Well, sort of, right? It's weird. If he has to play it out, then you're protected. If he doesn't have to play it out, then you're not protected, right?
right. Okay, so I'm curious what you make of this line here. So they go for Drown in the Log. What do you think my response is, and what do you think it should be?
Second drown. So clearly he's doing this because he knows that you have Sajiri Step in your deck, and he
Right.
knows he has to force it out, right? So I think from his standpoint is he has to cast that on your knight more likely than your reclaimer at any point if he's going to cast something. So let's see, what can you do? So I guess the question is, do you activate knight or do you activate reclaimer to save it, right?
Yeah, so I activate Knight. I think I actually should have activated Reclaimer for reasons that, I mean, I guess are immediately apparent when I have to sacrifice my Savannah and lose my green source. But
Yeah, I think that's the reason I would do that. I think if I were to do this, I would actually activate Reclaimer, tapping Flagstones and Cavern,
yes,
sacrificing the Flagstones, and Sajiri Step your knight, naming Black. Or
that was
blue.
the move.
Blue. Yeah.
Well, I think, okay, what I can actually do instead, I agree I'm meant to use Reclaimer. What I do is I bog myself in response.
Oh, that's cute. You can also do
Yeah.
that. It's
Now, this is kind of bad actually against Punishing Fire, but I figured if that was the line, then you would just do that on my main on their own main phase to kill the Reclaimer once like I've tried out for Knight. I don't have either one of those active yet. So I
right.
figured I probably am safe from P-Fire here. But yeah, what I should have done is reclaim Flagstones tapping these, and then I can still go for save depths if I want to, but I also don't lose the one green source that I have, which I can get it back with Reclaimer, but I can't like do that and find other good lands. So
Yeah, so instinctually I didn't want to do this was because of Punching Fire, but I guess um if you have the read that they don't have Punching Fire, which I guess is a reasonable read, then this is a better play, right?
yeah, part of me also, I use the Knight thinking that, oh, this is more mana efficient.
Yeah.
When it turns out that actually, because I have a floating mana, and I'm going to lose that unless I want to use the Sage now, and then also usually like Reclaim a land comes in tapped, Night Land comes in untapped. But if I'm getting bogged, that also comes in tapped. So
Yep.
I actually lose the mana here, and I don't get to protect my. So I have to like stage now, which opens me up to these things which I would be able to protect against otherwise.
Yep.
Or I just lose that ability for turn cycle. So this was like if I built this Boom more, I definitely should have reclaimed. I think still for bog because I want to have a step in my deck.
Right.
But yeah, I think that was the line instead.
Okay. Yeah.
And so yeah, I get Wasteland because it feels like I don't want to get another land in particular, and this can punch a hole in the mana base and make it really hard to leave out specific combinations of colors. So now I get to play the other cavern. for double uncountable, I guess. I waste the Grove because I can't take him off any other color, and it shuts off Punching Fly potentially.
Yep.
I want to do that now. I should have done this before playing Shepherd, obviously, so that doesn't get fired, but...
Yep.
So they ponder. And they're actually pretty low on cards at this point, so I figure I can just go for this.
So yeah, if they trophy you, it's fine. It's not even the end of the world, right?
Yeah, if they trophy me, it's fine. And then also, I have this rotation, which I can just like upgrade my depths. Actually, no, I can just let myself get.
You can just do this and knight up another stage, which is kind of sick, right?
Yeah, I think I maybe get another wasteland right now, or is it just stage?
I think you should just get stage personally and just play the depths from your hand.
Yeah, I think that's what I do. Oh, but there's the Shadow of Doubt.
No, there's the Shadow of Doubt, but you can do this in response at least. So
yes,
you got shadowed.
I did get
shadow. That's so insane. So yeah, you main phase it to play around trophy, which I think I agree with because
it's obviously sucks against like exactly Burrow, but you know, so be it. And now Dak gives some more backdoor out. Then they let me on tap, and at this point, I get to. Okay, let's pretend this doesn't happen. Stop watching the stream, people. I'm not going to go any further. Can you solve the crime? Can you tell what happened? So we'll just close that graveyard tab quickly, and then I figure like, yeah, I just step and we get it. Are you still there, Jarvis? I think you'd be laughing if you're still there. Okay.
No, I figured out. No, I know exactly what happened. You put a 1/1 into play, but it was actually a 0/0.
Correct.
Yeah, we put a 0/0 into play. What kind of fool would do that?
It's actually a pretty sick flex, though, the way the game ended, where I just like discarded a card for no reason and then won anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like the knight is lethal anyways, so.
so that was that. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just responding to the chat. Ferrando says if it's a Sylvan, it should be an elf. Except it's Alwe Rade, it has to be human.
I just got like elfin features, right? Kind of.
I don't know. All right. Let's see what else we got.
Okay, I'm gonna run to the restaurant quickly.
Sure.
Take a minute or two, but entertain the masses while I'm gone.
I will entertain the masses by opening a booster pack.
Oh hell yeah!
All right, chat. Am I opening Iconic Masters, Guild Pact, or Dissension? I'll wait a few seconds. Dissension. One vote for Dissension. Give it a few seconds. Oh, wait. Sten says Masters. Feingersh says Dissension. Oh, all. Look at this greedy Canoxai saying all. Open all. Open all cabinets, right? Masters. So it's 2-2 so far. All right. All packs, all cabinets. Open all packs, open all. All right. Dissension. Not Dissension. It's not worth a bunch. Dissension, I need a foil crypt. Well, who said you were getting the contents of the booster, Rabbit Sloppy J? Thank you for the follow. All right, I'm doing Dissension. It is... What is this card? Isperia? I'm having trouble opening this pack. Why is it so hard? Oh my gosh. Uh-oh, reglued pack confirmed. I don't know, probably not. I remember this coming from my booster box. Alright, there we go. Alright. Demon Chester. 3 and a black, 2/2 fire. Hellbent, it gets +2/+1. Ocular Halo, 3 and a blue enchantment. Enchant creature has tap, draw a card. Pay white, enchanted creature gets vigilance until end of turn. Oh, Dom is back too, but I'm opening some packs. Aquastrand Spider. 2/2 graft. You can pay a green to give a creature with a +1/+1 counter reach. Alright, free one Equinaut. 2/2 fire. If it's enchanted, it has tap, deal 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Azorius Chancery. Psychotic Fury. It gives double strike to a multicolored creature and draw a card. Thrive, which is a reprint. Put counters on each of X target creatures. A +1/+1 counter. 1/1, pay a white, sack it, destroy target aura. Counter spell unless its owner pays X. You gain X life. Overrule. Gobhobble Rats. Black, red, 2/2. Hellbent, it gets +1/+1 and has black regenerate it. Delirium Skeins, each player discards 3 cards. Leafjake Roost, the best card in the pack so far. It is Enchant Land for 3 blue, green. Green, blue, tap this land. Put a 2/2 Flying Drake into play. Stoic Ephemera. 2 and a white, 5/5. Defending, flying. When it blocks, sack it at end of combat. Core 2 star. 2 and a blue, 1/3 Vig. When it comes into play, look at the top 3, put 1 into your hand, rest it in the bottom in any order. Sack it unless you paid a white to play it. And here's a rare. Sprouting Phytohydra. 4 and a green defender. When it's dealt damage, you may put a token into play that's a copy of Sprouting Phytohydra. It's an 0/2 for 5. Not a very good rare. I would take Leaf Drake Roost, pack 1, pick 1. How about you, Dom?
Jarvis, why are we gambling on stream?
I'm not gambling. I'm opening packs for my beloved subscribers.
That's gambling, Jarvis, and you know it. And that's what all Magic is. Magic is gambling.
Oh, why? Okay. Anyways, let's get back to it, Dom. Let's see.
Sure.
What was Ploof a Doof playing?
Let me check that. Get in there. So, Roof-a-Doof. Was on. Oh, this was a like 4-color loan, but I don't remember that much being especially interesting.
It's weird because I think that matchup is like really high variance and sometimes can be interesting, but maybe if you just had a great draw, you just like kind of obliterated them. Sounds
yeah. Game 1, I just crushed them, and then game 2, it was actually a little strange where we both had knights, but they had the first knight, so they started like aggressively wastelanding me.
Yeah.
But at some point, I just like had more resources than they did, and I had an engineer that like ate a Mother of Runes and blanked their knight from attacking, which is pretty pivotal.
Wait,
so,
were they 4-color loam or were they like Mavericky?
It was 4-color with like Grove the Burn Willows.
Okay.
I think it was like 4-color no blue, so no Oko, stuff like that. But it was like Chalice, Mox Diamond, Bob, Knight, that kind of stuff.
Some Brits want to know if I'm an open all stream. I open all cabinets occasionally, but not right now. Sounds like we've gotten through most of the interesting matches.
Yeah.
Do you want to play a match or two on stream? And
okay, sure.
Yeah.
Wait, is this a direct challenge, Jarvis? Are you?
No, I'm not challenging.
We're hopping in a league.
I literally have one deck, and it's just a copy of your deck on my account right now.
So, mirror match. Let's go.
No, it's not.
And what we do is we bait everyone into playing the deck, and then we figure out how we beat the mirror, and then
we beat the mirror by playing a different. We put Goblin Charbelcher into our deck and beat the.
Then we roll around on a giant pile of money. We could do what Final Enough did and just play Legacy Neoform.
Fair, fair. Um,
All right, lead time.
Feingersh did once steal my tech and beat me in a mirror in a PPBTQ top 8. And then 2 weeks later, Feingersh's friend did that with an Elves deck in a Legacy Open.
Yeah, Kane saying in the chat that Nightmare was melt his mind. I lost to Kane in a Nightmare at that Syracuse Open where I was on like the primitive version of this deck and he was on Shrek. And after that match, I was just like humiliated. I couldn't look anyone in the eye. I was like, I really threw that away. It was so bad.
Strauss Daddy. All right.
I tend to like do the Goldfish check before matches. I don't know if that's like good practicing or testing or whatever, but
I think if you're planning on playing an open decklist tournament, it's fine. This person
and I guess
plays. Oh, looks like 4-color, like green, white, blue, red, P Fire, Oko.
With that in mind, then this hand is probably decent because I have 22-9.
I would probably just keep this hand no matter what, personally. So
same. So what are we pitching to our diamond?
Wait, I went to you in Bosage and you killed me with it? That's so rude, Feingersh. Oh my god, I had forgotten that. I blocked it from my mind that Feingersh did.
Moki, I got exactly 64th and never got paid. Hashtag paid on.
Oh. Now I remember this event, Feingersh. Now I remember.
So I kind of want to just pitch the Arbor, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Most of our lands.
Yep.
But do we do it now is the thing. Like, do we play Reclaimer and then, like, leave the Knight rolled up?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so just Forest Reclaimer? Or do we kind of want them to wasteland us?
Oh, no. Sorry. I see what you're asking now. I would just go Forest Reclaimer.
Yeah.
Oh, so... Hold on. Do they have Mox Diamond in their deck?
I don't think they do.
They don't. Okay. So I was about to say the reason to play out your Mox is in opposing Thalia, but since there's no threat of that, you don't have to.
I guess like Chalice potentially, but
I don't think, I think most 4-color Mavericky decks play Chalice of the Void.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna do this instead. I think this is reasonable. I think it's a little bit worse. I guess the time it's worse is when they're like wasting you and not doing anything else, which isn't even that bad.
Yeah, I think I'm mostly okay with that. Okay, so here's birds. And
I would jam this knight into play. Okay, now I'm definitely jamming the knight into play. I think I was still gonna jam the knight into play no matter what, but
and now I think I actually kind of want to keep the Arbor. Is that strange?
I think it is strange.
Okay.
So the counterpoint to that is, what if you get wastelanded?
What I'm thinking is if they have Oko, I kind of want as much material on board as possible.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, okay. Like, if I get wastelanded right here, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think this is reasonable. I was just saying the downside to this play is wasteland specifically, but I guess if they're wasting you, they're also not developing most likely, so...
I mean, this could go bad if we, like, need to use all of our mana next turn. But...
Right.
And that could actually come up. Like, let's say we have untapped land, we play Knight, we have one left over, we get to, like, search for another thing and proclaim. So, yeah, I think actually that was a mistake.
Hashtag justice for Dom.
Also, on the SUG broadcast this weekend, Cedric said, I'll pay you $5 million if you can name the 2 blue pathways from the set, and I nailed it, and I haven't got paid yet, so...
Do you think Cedric has $5 million?
He won't after my lawyers get in touch with him, I'll tell you that. That one at least was in jest, but I would like my check from Syracuse if possible.
Alright, so if you draw Wasteland, you can actually kill that Oko.
Yes. I did not draw Wasteland, and so now this is kind of the scenario that I envisaged. Am I just attacking this to one, playing knight, playing arbor, or am I trying to like what's the goal here?
So my instinct is, I think versus this deck, it's very unsafe to make Merit Wage, generally speaking. So I would probably just try to play a normal game and grind them out.
Okay, what does that entail on this turn though?
That entails making the obvious play, which is attack Oko for 4, play your Arbor, play your Knight.
Okay, is there a case for playing Heath over Arbor so that if I draw, so that it's easier to turn on Reclaimer next turn, basically?
No, I don't think so, because your Reclaimer, well, so the reason I don't like that is, will 1 damage matter on the Oko? And I think it might. Because so we're attacking their Oko to 1. Suppose they plus it again on our Knight. We'll have 3/3, 1/2, 1/1. If they plus on that and play 2 blockers, then we get to kill the Oko through 2 blockers.
Okay, yeah.
So I think that's why I had to come up with the reason. I knew it looked right to me, but I needed the actual reason, you know?
You did the math.
Yeah. Yeah, we do math in this stream for anyone who's joining.
In this stream, we speak frankly and we do math.
Yeah. And on our stream, math is for blockers. In this stream, math is for attackers or blockers. Whoa, that's a weird... I guess, is it still a land? Oh, no, this makes sense then.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot wasteland it anymore, correct?
I think that's right. I mean, we can now attack and kill it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, what we can do is we can reclaim up a step and not have to, like...
Okay,
well,
yeah,
okay, what does that open up? That's now interesting, too.
So, depending on what they do, what this can open up is you can rotate for one of the pieces, Reclaimer for the other, and you'll have 2 mana left over, which is exactly enough to do the thing. Now, I don't know if you want to do that, because the problem with that, again, is they have Birds of Paradise in play, and B, like, I don't know how many Okos or Wastelands or whatever, you know, like, because then you're gambling on, you know, Oko versus Wasteland versus Plow, you know?
Yeah, I think if we want to get Oko off the board this turn without losing our Reclaimer, then we're going to have to burn our step anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to make it harder in a longer game, but I think we kind of have to do that, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Oko's just so insanely powerful on this board as it is, so.
So we are reclaiming, like, Forest or Savannah or Step, stepping on Night, and then holding out crop rotation.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think sacrificing the Forest is good, for what it's worth.
Over the Savannah, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is not allowed anymore, right? So we can't...
No, you cannot wasteland it. Plus, your wasteland would come into play tapped off the Reclaimer anyways.
True. Alright.
Well, you can name green. Yeah, I think this is going to be a game where Oko was like kind of a beating for us, actually.
Yeah, and I think it is in general. Like, I think the deck is somewhat weak to Oko, but...
Yeah, I mean, when you signed up with green and white creatures, you just have to accept your lumps that you're going to be soft to something that erases all of your text box, right?
Yes.
Whoa, was that in all of their lists? No, their last list does not have Brainstorm.
No, okay. So they're mixing it up.
So I think what this probably tells you is they're probably like Bant Splash Red, if I had to guess.
Okay.
Instead of like their old version will appear to be green, white, splashing red and blue. Not that that affects how we play against them too much. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really affect that much what we do on our side, except maybe they're softer to Wasteland. Is the only thought process, right?
I guess so.
Although I'm not thrilled about Wastelanding a deck that clearly has Birds of Paradise in it right now.
Yeah, I think this type of Boku deck is actually a little harder to play against for that reason. But like they can turbo it out, and then also a lot of the secondary plans are a bit weaker against them.
Yep.
Like them having their own main deck Sylvans is kind of rough too.
I think this is a matchup where like Tireless Tracker or something would be insanely good, but
Yeah. I mean, the issue with Tracker is I think that does not really age well either. Like it gets
I
L, it gets
agree.
swords.
Yeah,
It's just
I think people just like to hold on to that card being good, even though I don't think it's particularly good anymore, personally.
I also think people massively overrate it in modern.
I could see that. I think the
Like,
only deck where I really liked Tracker was the deck where I could tap all my clues for blue mana.
oh yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah, I mean that was like broken personally.
But I remember spectating the PT in London, and I walked past several different matches
You
where
should just crack this one swap teeth.
I will do that.
This makes no sense. Why would you do this?
I walked past several matches in that Pro Tour where it would be like Black Green Rock against some deck, and Rock would tap up a Tire Tracker, and then the opponent would just like play Third Tron and play Khan, or they would play
Yeah.
Tracker, and the opponent would dredge their Secret in, but then do like 10 different things, and it's like this is you guys are not playing the same format, right?
So our opponent paid 2 mana to cast Shock, and it did nothing.
No reason to fire off rotation now,
No,
right?
literally no reason. I think.
Okay,
Ooh,
that's nice.
So you can Zenith for Safekeeper, right?
I can see him for Safekeeper. Is that better than doing anything for another night?
I think so because all we. So here's my reasoning. I want to just assemble the thing this turn and try to end this game.
Can I do all of that this turn though? So I need
No,
to no, I can't. But
if
I can get the Safekeeper and just pass with the claim up and then threaten to
exactly.
get that done. So that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
With that in mind, are we interested in offering a trade with Knight on Arbor? I guess the R3/4 blanks F3 to some extent,
I'm
but I don't know what the
trying.
use of having this material is.
So the counterpoint to doing that is it puts a land in the graveyard for their knight potentially. So I guess I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I guess if they have another Oko, does that change things at all? Like the extra 3/3?
no, because none of our three threes, there our three theories are just engaging in a staring contest, right?
They are also an equipment deck. Like
Okay,
at
sure.
least
Okay, yeah, then
the most
probably
recent list.
yeah. So offering the trade is probably correct then. They are at 10 as well. If they take the hit, they can't draw 2 cards as well. So
Yeah, it also does mean I think that if we just naturally like draw another knight or something, that's one less blocker for it to get through.
right. I'm really glad that they cast that punishing power to do nothing.
That's
But
I'm a little mystified about that, but yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Wonder what we do if they have like Jitte or something.
if they have Jite,
Yeah.
um, it's inconvenient. That's what I'll say. I mean, the alternative plan is to just say go and leave up the ability to make Merit Lage. But I don't think that's like if they have another Plow or Oko or even Wasteland, that's like sort of awkward, right?
Yeah. Um, it's like the exactly Jitte, right? Versus um all the other stuff it could be.
So I personally wouldn't worry about GTA because it's a one of versus like the 13 of or whatever I listed.
We also like don't know for sure what their list now looks like still.
Yeah, I agree,
Um,
but I would say that they probably have more things that can like screw with the Merit Wage this turn than GTA, right?
so it's one of their three remaining swords, or I guess like the birds as a blocker
Well,
is
also
a little
Oko, right?
problematic. Oko, Yes. I
So
mean,
suppose
Oko
suppose
we can
no,
combo in response, but
right, but no, I'm just saying. Suppose that they have just Oko Wasteland in their hand, right? Then becomes really
yeah.
inconvenient. So I think that's why I would probably Zenith for the Safekeeper this turn and try to do the thing next turn personally. But
I think Wasteland is also a little awkward if we're trying to set the combo up.
right.
Like Wasteland plus anything else.
So do you want to just Zenith for Night then?
Is there an argument for like rotation for Wasteland and Zenith for Night? Probably not, right? They have so much mana otherwise.
Yeah, I would. I mean,
Um,
like, don't they have 5 with a land drop essentially?
yeah. I kind of like Zenith for Night. I mean, maybe we split the difference and we can Zenith for Reclaimer and then also Reclaim on this turn.
Okay, I don't hate that actually. All right. The one thing is if you're trying to combo, it doesn't really work. But and the other bad thing about that is your Reclaimers don't line up well versus their Knights, right? If they find one.
Correct, yeah. Um, I think Night it is then probably.
Okay.
And then we also. Oh, we just didn't attack.
You did attack. You attacked with the 3/3.
But what I'm saying is like we should have finalized this in advance.
Yeah,
So
but
like
the
we
yeah
would get one more attack in, and that attack actually could be relevant with the library.
yep.
Um, although, yeah, I think Safekeeper maybe.
Safekeeper is certainly more coherent with how we played this turn. That's
Yeah,
what I'll say. But
we don't want to like sunk cost fallacy it, right? But
yeah, but I agree that if it turns out the other line's still better by this point, we should switch. I'm not. It's not clear to me that it is. It's also not clear to me that your opponent actually even has stage depths on their radar yet. Personally, like there's a chance that they don't know still, right?
I suppose so. Yeah, it's
I
also
mean,
tough because like we're talking about lines that lose tonight. If we go for the combo, then between burst blocking Caracas or Wasteland, like there's actually a decent chance they can just contain the Knight through a Safekeeper, or contain the Merit Lace through a Safekeeper.
right.
And then stuff like Wasteland Knight is still a big issue. And Zenith for Knight too. I don't like our spot here.
Oh yeah, step is a pretty obvious tell. Never mind. They know we have stage steps. That's fair.
I mean, if we were just like a Mavericky deck, it would maybe make sense.
Yeah, so what you're gonna have to do is just, Reclaimer up a Wasteland first, which is fine. Guess it kinda sucks. Maybe we can trick them by getting the stage they wasted and then rotating the stage away. Should be kinda sick actually, right?
Or if they yeah, if we reclaim for Wasteland, they try and waste our waste because why not do it now?
Yep.
Right? And then we rotate our waste into stage.
Yeah.
This is Zenith for 9 plus waste. So yeah, this is about as bad as we could ask for there. Sucks.
It's not the end of the world. It's just gonna be a bunch of hoops you still have to step through. Pun intended.
XD drops.
XD. So I think you should reclaim away this security step personally.
Do we do that or the Arbor? Because they, in theory, like maybe tag Arbor or something else.
Sure. I guess Arbor's never getting through, right? Okay, yeah, I could buy that then.
Right. Chomp block, I suppose. Oh, also it is.
So I think we have to get Wasteland, right? So now you can draw a stage and have it be fine. Nope.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a better way of doing that.
Yeah, that was really complicated. I mean, now I think we just have to say go and see what happens.
Do we play out the cabin?
Yeah, I think you have to, right? Because I think the number of lands we have in play is going to be relevant.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe we could like attack with Reclaimer, rotate for Bog, but they have onboard Wasteland, which kind of messes that up a bit. Like, they can waste themselves to keep it around.
Wait, were we supposed to... Oh, someone brought up a good point. Were we supposed to just main phase make them Merit Wage by wasting their waste? Yeah, we had exactly enough mana.
Okay. I'm just yeah.
Wait, that was
I'm
my
done.
plan to begin with, then I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I did actually mention that last turn, right?
I think so. Yeah, we just didn't like actually do the math properly to run through it.
Oh,
Yeah, that was better. Okay, I think we can pack it in now, right? Because
Oh, well, hold on. Maybe they'll mess it up somehow. Just lead by wasting their... Oh,
well, I'm thinking we want them to. Okay, this is kind of the same now. Um,
yeah,
they're
we,
gonna
we
get
screwed the
Crow.
pooch. There should be a Merit Wage in play, and we should be down like 3 lands, right?
Yeah.
Because now they can just go knight up another waste, and now it's actually...
Okay, I think
Okay.
this actually would have ended us regardless, but
Well, no, Safekeeper beats that, right?
not if they like get to hold this up and then they block and then they do it again, and they get to knife for Caracas too,
Okay, maybe we would have lost, but...
because that's at least 2 lands for safekeeper on each turn
So
cycle.
you would be down... You would have to draw land, it looks like, essentially, right? So if you drew a land on this turn cycle, you would still be okay?
We're gonna target this.
So just
So
float white from your step and shield it, right? And I mean, like, now I guess we hope they mess up somehow, but it's really hard to mess up here, right?
and we'll use the floating mana now to Reclaimer.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, we'll force them, but it's really easy to knight up Wasteland. That's the problem, right?
Yes. So we get stage.
No, you're supposed to get depths with this,
Okay.
right?
Perhaps.
Yeah, we never know. Maybe they do something weird. What's up, B-Raj? Welcome back, friend. Yeah, I mean...
Well, now, like if we reclaim first stage, it's tap. And we actually should be conscious of time, too, in case this goes to...
Okay, so what I would do is I would just see if they understand. I would just go for it here and see if they understand. So just waste their waste.
I mean, if we were doing that, we should have done that first.
Just rotate Savannah, get stage, and activate. Damn, I should have reminded you that we could have done it on our main phase.
Yeah. I'm just a big stupid, okay? You gotta hold my hand and walk me through this.
I gotta hold your hand and make sure you have your sippy juice box.
I mean, in a way, it's heartening that even against like Sword, Turn 2 Oko, followed up by stuff, we still like should have won this game probably, or like at least been pretty far ahead.
Yeah, Sylvan Safekeeper is messed up.
What if they get Caracas in? They just forget about.
I mean, I'm hoping they do that, but it looks like they're doing something else instead.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I would still go for it, personally.
I'm gonna give them some credit.
Okay, fine. You can do that. Okay, yeah, I guess even if they do it slightly wrong, you still lose, right?
Yes.
So that's fine. Okay. Yeah, the clock is a real thing as well.
Gotta be speedy gamers. So I want engineers, libraries, swords. Um,
Yeah,
do I want ley lines? I don't think so, right?
I don't think
They
so.
don't even
I
have
think
any
that
loam
leyline plan sucks a lot, actually.
interactions. So we Thaddeus out, Shepard out. How do you feel about Diamond
You can
versus
shave
like
like 2 diamonds, I think.
I'll show you the old bordered ones or new border ones, and then um, Caracas probably
Yeah,
because I don't.
Caracas is not great.
Okay, that's over there. I mean, luckily they don't seem to have much that they can bring in to improve, but I don't know how that is.
So
Okay,
what?
and then
Do you need cavern? Is your green count counted? Like, do you need it for green count?
I think it's actually a black source for reclaimer for engineer a lot of the time.
Oh, okay. If it's a black source for engineer, then you probably need it.
Maybe oh, just adepts, right?
Yeah,
Because
sure, that's fine.
do we actually want to shape more of those on the same logic as
So
previously?
the thing about them is, I think going long versus them is probably not the best idea, right? Because they have Okos, they
That's
have most
fair.
of the
Yeah,
same stuff you have, except I think they're even better late, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like we're in this pincer where we can't really win early most of the time, but also going late sucks.
Yeah.
Um, with that in mind, maybe it makes sense to like chase an early like turn one Sylvan library or something. But anyway,
I would just keep this hand, right?
yes, yeah. Just thinking about what we do start off with. I think I want to Bayou Reclaimer, or do we
That
actually do we Zenith? Because
so
then we
I was
get
thinking
to
about that.
reclaim a library.
Um yeah, I would probably Zenith because I'm also just worried that like there's like backdoor draws where they just like waste you and plow your thing and then you have no
Yeah.
colored mana. Whereas if you Zenith
Also,
for a green source, then it's good. And I think you do have to get Bayou, right? Given your hand.
we could even if they lead on like a bird or something, just engineer turn two.
Yeah, just Flame Tongue Kabu their bird.
Or if they zenith with their own arbor,
Yeah.
like that, I can do it. So I like that.
Yeah, this is a really whoa. I have like this gray screen popping up.
Oh, I'm getting something saying please move this window away from the shared application. Oh, that's Discord. All right.
Oh, okay.
We get Bayou. Cena.
All right. I would probably
Okay.
just Flame Tongue their mana creature personally, but
That's actually perfect too because carry on human makes their nice a bit worse.
yeah.
So I think we stage right because if we draw debts we can thread them
Yeah,
out.
agreed.
All right.
Plague Engineer is such like an impressively powerful card.
It's
Actually,
it's kind of nonsense. Yeah.
that's some fire for you right there.
Like obviously it's obscured by the even more degenerate stuff from the same set, but
Yeah.
in terms of its effect on older formats, I think it really is actually pretty bad.
It's kind of funny. I think MH1 was an excellent limited format and a terrible format for constructed, generally speaking. In that it wasn't like terrible. I mean, the cards just warped a lot of things, is what I actually mean.
Is that
Okay. Well, we can beat them down and play a bunch of things out, which is kind of nice, right?
okay? Do we want to FTK their mana creature again? I guess it's
So
just
here
a
it's
trade this time.
different because I don't think you're cutting off their 3 drops anymore, right?
Well, we might be if it's Oko because they currently don't have like they have Plateau Basic Forest.
Yep, but my counterpoint is if you get a Sylvan and a Reclaimer in play, I think you can just deal with the Oko manually, right?
Yeah, and I can also imagine like they just untap and play Knight, which is maybe what this land sequencing suggests, and then we just don't have an answer to that. So
Exactly. That's why I think I'm leaning towards, holding that plow, but the flame tongue on the noble hierarch was relatively free. You know.
Yeah. And I think attacking for one seems better than like holding up the white source for swords,
I agree.
especially with how telegraphed that is. I mean, I can imagine us wanting to use all of our mana.
Mhm.
I mean, it's actually kind of tough if we want to proclaim for depth and stage because then we don't have the mana left over.
Right.
But I don't know how important that is.
Yeah, we got a sub from Monk Res Prime or Monk Res Nose with Prime. Thank you.
Monk S Prime.
No.
Uh,
All right.
yeah.
Well, so the fetch means they probably could cast that Oko no matter what, right?
Yes. Interesting.
Food token. You got it, bud.
Which actually, if there were sequences here that let us just kill the Yoga, right? If we can get our reclaimers for a 3/4.
Yeah, but
Unless they have swords, which they could, but
huh.
all right.
That's kind of interesting. I wonder what you're supposed to do now. So
I mean,
hear me out. I want to pay 8
yeah,
regardless, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then
8/8.
then we can figure out what to do.
I guess their foothills could get Arbor as a blocker,
Well, you
but then
could
that's
play
just like
Wasteland
strip mine.
first, you know?
To play Wasteland, um, yeah, so I think I like. How do you feel about Waste attack Oko for Waste Plateau Engineer on Bird
Yeah, I would do that.
and like really limit their resources? Okay.
Exactly. Well, we have a Sylvan going. They're only drawing one card per turn. We'll probably be able to take care of the Noko within a turn or two. We might have to like plow a food token, you know, or something like that. But that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think playing the Waste First is good because like if they fetch Arbor here, then we can waste that instead and still kill the bird, and that like has the same sort of effect, pretty much, right? All right.
Okay, so we just fire that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the counter argument is if we just let that happen, um, we could maybe cut them off white. Like if they fetch the Arbor, it trades.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that was a mistake then. Um, yeah, I don't like what we did there because we get in 2 more damage on the Oko, if that, maybe 1, and yeah, I think we screwed up there.
Oh, it was 1. Yeah, because it would just block Arbor and Arbor almost every time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still
Okay,
like our spot, but I think that's a lot worse than just
wasting their
leaving
red
them
source.
so far down and their white source.
Right. Maybe that was bad, actually.
I think we're still in a
Well,
good spot, but
it depends on what they do. They have no 3-drop. Okay. So you don't want to pay 8 here. I
uh,
think. I think what you can do is just pay 4 and use Once Upon a Time to scry past the mocks, essentially.
oh, I was kind of thinking of keeping the Mox because I already have like these 2 additional lands. Um,
Hmm.
I can discard Savannah to Mox, play Backstones.
So the one worry I have is double punching fire just punking you out, essentially.
No, I'm saying if I go to 7,
Okay. So you want to keep mocks Once Upon a Time and put the stage back?
yes.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't want to go to 3.
Yeah, I think going to 3 is unnecessarily aggressive, even though I am super aggressive on my.
I agree that's the most likely way to lose. So from here, how do we want to? And we should like speed this up. So
Yeah.
I might just start taking game actions. Okay,
Yeah,
this gets
just play the obvious way. I think is good
this
here.
gets a 3rd land.
Yep.
Now I'll cast Once Upon a Time.
Agreed. Okay,
Take
that's
9.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. Then like this.
Yeah, that looks good to me. They don't really have a good block. They might block your human one, I guess. Yeah, which is
That's
fine.
fine.
And then you play your knight and leave up plow off Savannah, probably.
Yep. Actually, make them
Yeah, yeah.
respect conversation.
Yep. I mean, like, this is an example of a game where we had man acceleration, we didn't let them keep theirs, so it spiraled out of control for them.
I think for game three, I'm just going to take game actions. I don't think we have time
I
to.
agree.
But like, obviously, narrate over those, and I'll chip in when I can. But I think we just have to like
Yeah,
speed around
so
game
I
three.
think what you might want to do in game 3 is have all of your Mox diamonds in on the draw, because I think Mox
Yes,
is actually better on the draw than it is on the play.
I agree. What do we want to cut for those?
Uh,
Maybe like
we'll decide.
some.
We can decide in sideboarding. We still have time
Yeah.
there, right?
Yes. Maybe like more depths or more rotations.
My instinct is more depths, like two
Okay.
more. But
The thing is, we do actually need enough lands to pitch to our diamonds. Okay, I'm just going to source that and
yep.
get aggro.
Seems like their draw was pretty not good this game, besides the Oko.
Yeah, they just kind of floundered. All right, so shouldn't have chatted with Arbor. Whatever.
Yeah, I would just main phase make the Merit Age. Oh, too late.
Well, the plan was going to be do it and then have Step off Proclaimer, but
Oh, sure. Oh, they have the Crocus. Okay.
okay.
So we're not going to do that, I guess.
No.
Probably just go get another Wasteland.
Well, I do have a sword on top of my deck still, so I don't know
Oh,
if we want
okay.
to
You
keep
probably
that
just
there.
want to keep that then.
Although now that they're doing this, probably not. I'm just going to go get Wasteland,
Okay.
or I could. And
Or you could just
that,
cold them, right?
yeah. Sword, that's
Oh,
fine.
that's fine, yeah.
Get a safekeeper. Sure, okay. And not ethics because then I get Caracas and feel bad. Oh, fuck.
Oh, well, okay. I don't think it's going to matter, but obviously, we all know.
Is this a family-friendly stream, Jarvis? And I should have said no.
No, it's not.
There's the Den of the Profane.
All right, whatever. We'll just have to win game 3 in 4 minutes, which this deck is definitely capable of doing. So, I think maybe for that reason you can't take out your depths
No,
combo. Actually,
yeah, I just have to be, yeah. Courser of Kufix. What is going on?
Look, just say no to your Sylvan.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
How do you add a punt to Dom's count? You have to go to his channel and type exclamation point punt.
What's going to start streaming soon, so I'll make sure to get that one on because we're going to need it. Okay, game three. Let's see. So diamonds in, but then if we're like we can't afford to put out too many things, right? So, where do we go?
It's kind of hard because like our deck is sort of optimized to like do this thing, you know.
Yeah, maybe a rotation isn't great. Like the last one. Whatever. This is fine. Let's just
Yeah, whatever. Just try it. I mean, like, it's awkward
yes.
for a lot of reasons, but
I mean, it's like the result of this match. Okay, keep this is less important than the theory of what we're doing, right? Just learning stuff, putting on a good show.
Yep.
So there's Savannah. There's Hierarch. Lead with once. Okay, we've got that queued up, which is nice. I think I want another land for Diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And then am I getting a thing now? Am I getting Reclaimer off this, or what am I doing?
I'd probably just get Arbor, right? Because it enables the turn two.
Yeah, what land am I playing first?
Probably Stage.
Am I sourcing the Hierarch?
Oh, actually, yeah, just do that.
You think? Okay, yeah, I like this. So we need 2 colors, which means we have to diamond a stage.
Yep.
We Heath. We get Savannah. So it's this. Prism's 21, which is a little irritating, but whatever. I think if we establish an active knight, we're going to be okay.
Yep.
And just turbo it. And we have a lot of good draws in this spot too.
This is fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah, we'd love to see it, I think. Get pretty punished by Oko, but so it goes.
Whatever.
Did they mulligan this game?
No. We were just on the draw.
Okay, so this is Oko. Are we just passing with combo? Because they can threaten to L-card Diamond. That is the problem.
Yeah, just pass with combo up and attack the Oko. And frankly, I think if they elk the diamond, you just go for it. Well, I guess not anymore, but that's okay.
Oh, they just have it all? Yeah, that sucks. Okay. Maybe their deck is decent if you just like cut a bunch of the nonsense stuff, like fire. And it was just like a Zenith Oko Knight deck.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't hate that either, to be honest.
just Knight go, I think.
Yeah.
Was sort of hoping you would draw a plow there.
Yeah, plow, maybe rotation.
Yeah. You had a lot of good draws, but I think we can slow down a little bit on our thinking, but these turns have honestly not been that interesting.
Yeah.
Like The
I
place have
mean,
been the only interesting thing was we were we supposed to Zenith for the Arbor, and I think so, but
I can see an argument actually there for Safekeeper. But the thing is, I think I don't know because if we don't sword the mana creature, then they just get turned to Oko.
right.
Those two anything.
Not really. Oko's just like miserable here. Sort of hard to get out of this spot because of the Oko, right?
Yeah, I mean, we are dead.
Our base green white deck got trumped by a Thief of Crowns. Eh. Well, I guess I'm sorry that I didn't save you in game one when I like no, but I told you the plan and then we just didn't do it that one turn, right?
See, Jarvis, I need you to be forceful with me. You know,
I know, I
if
know. I'm too nice to you.
if a team tournament ever happens again, and if we're playing in it, I need you to just be like screeching orders in my ear. You know, like
Yeah.
like a general or like a disappointed father or something. Choose your vibe.
Great. We're just memeing.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, whatever. I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm
Okay, well,
done with that.
that was unfortunate, but I think that match was totally winnable. Obviously, don't
Do
think
we
it's.
wanna do we wanna jump in another one? Do
Yeah,
we have time?
yeah, we have
I don't
time
know
for
how
that.
long you're planning to go, but
I I don't know. I have plenty of time. I mean, the
okay.
one thing is, I'm gonna tell all y'all. I think Dom and I are gonna co-stream the Envy tomorrow, the Mythic Envy tomorrow at some point for a few hours at least. You know, just for hangouts. We'll just be hanging out basically. Can we have this deck splash for Oko? I have not thought about that, but I think once you have stage and depths in your deck, it's less incentivized to like splash a third color.
I
Personally,
think you can. I just don't know exactly what problem it solves. Right? Like it's obviously very good in matchups like this. Oh, we have
Anzi D
Anurag.
Anurag, get out of this.
Is he streaming?
I don't know.
Let's
Possibly
hide our hand. Hide our hand.
hide our hand. Hide our hand. I don't think he'll snipe actually, so I'm not going to. But someone go to Anu's stream and make sure he's not sniping.
Hold on, didn't he raid us earlier?
Yeah, he did. So
So
he's
probably
probably
not
not.
streaming, I'm guessing.
But that doesn't preclude the sniper.
No.
But I no joking aside, I don't think he'll snipe us, so I'm not going to bother. If he wants to snipe us for like 50 cents worth of value, so be it.
I assume he's still on his thing with like Shark Typhoon and stuff. Full card deck.
I
Or
don't
is he
know. He
mixing it
might
up?
just be recording a video for CFP, in which case all bets are off. You know.
Literally anything.
Yeah, it literally could be anything.
What if it's a mirror?
If it's a
What if I
mirror,
convince him?
I think we will destroy him personally.
Really
Wait.
sounds pretty good in a mirror.
No, like, so the thing about depths mirrors is they're actually really, really hard to play, I think, a lot of the time.
Yes. But I don't know if that helps me or hurts me after my behavior last round.
Versus Anu probably helps you.
Wow. Okay.
Look, Anu knows what he's signing up for.
Fine.
Look, he had depths training, but you're not holding his hand right now, Tom, so it's different.
The thing is, if Tom had lands training from you, and then as he had depth training from Tom, is there like some transitive property of that? Okay, four.
Wow. So, you know it's more likely if he's mulling this much that we're just going to get, like, Belchered or some shit, and then we'll be, like,
Yeah.
sad.
I was actually thinking with that, is there therefore an argument for just holding up rotation for Bog in case it's like exactly black red or something? But
Nah, I would
um,
not. I would just play once upon a time.
I did have a fun match in a league when okay, let's look at this quickly. So actually, we have a lot of good options. I think the default usually is Reclaimer, but without knowing what he's on, it's kind of tough to go one
Yeah,
way or
I,
the
I would
other.
just take the Reclaimer personally.
You think that's better than Knight?
Yeah, Knight is slow as shit, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, if it is just a normal Anurag deck, Safety was probably the best card of this bunch.
Yeah, I guess, but I think personally I would just play on curve. Plus, you have once upon a time to hardcast next turn, so you can find a Knight that way, right?
Yeah. I did, as I was saying, I had a match in the league where my opponent multiplied and conceded game one after I played a Reclaimer. And so I figured, well, the only deck probably that would do that would be like a deck that scoops a bog. So I brought it in my ley lines and then played a 10-0 ley line game two and they instantly conceded.
Yeah, so you probably had the hard read on them playing like Hogak or Dredge.
Yeah.
Because, so Reanimator can definitely beat a Reclaimer.
Yeah.
Because you bog them once and then be like, alright, here's my second Entomb, here's my Gristlebrand. Oh, you're dead now?
Yeah, or they can do like the reanimation spell is exhume and then they get to entomb again in response or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And also a lot of the black red decks nowadays have the one tendrils package.
Ooh, Anurag. Okay.
Oh, so it's
So am I just wasting waste?
I would
Or
I would snap off this waste on waste so fast personally.
okay. What vile deck is this likely to be, do you think? Just maybe goblins? Is that an option?
It's probably goblins, yeah.
Because or like D&T?
He hates DNT. So using that knowledge, I don't think it's likely to be DNT. I would just waste the waste personally.
When we have two rotations, is there an argument for not doing that? I guess like if we would be tapping out for Reclaimer otherwise, probably not. But
Yeah. The next land drop will probably give us some information. Witch Hunt?
so I was on
I don't think Witch Hunt plays Wasteland, right?
Does it play two wastelands?
I really don't think it's the Divining Witch deck. I assume you saw that deck, Dom.
I did. I love the idea, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure if that deck is actually better than like Separate Breakfast built a certain way, but maybe with witches. Is there an argument for rotating for Wasteland and doing the same thing again?
No, because we don't have another green source, right?
Yeah, the Dryad Arbor.
Alright, I suggest you cast
Well,
this Tinker.
Yes. Don't know if it's going to result. Okay, what do we get now? Maybe
Yeah,
Flag Stones? I kind of get
I
Flag
actually
Stones.
think you should get Flagstones, yeah. Seems really good here, right?
Oh, Flag Stones is just such a clean card.
Has been a very strange game. I want to see what pops out of the vial to get more information, you know?
Yes.
I feel like
No
it's
one
goblins. I really feel like it's goblins.
That would make sense to me, and they don't actually have that many one drops, so okay, Port is definitely goblins, right?
Oh, it could still be Death and Taxes technically, but my prior on Honorog as a human being leads me to believe it is goblins.
Okay, so we want Savannah here and then Depths.
Yeah.
You think? Okay. I mean, if it's goblins, they're probably called to Depths unless they have main Singing Scourge and a Matron or something. But
no one plays Singing Scourge anymore because that card fucking blows.
That's what I've gathered. Yeah,
it's really not a good card. Like,
okay, so play Waste and Pass. You think?
Yep. Yeah.
Actually, are we just attacking with Reclaimer instead?
I
kind of don't want to because I feel like
no, I would not because I think there's like some weird like what if you get Warren Instigator or some shit plus a wasteland, right? So what's up, Legacy Council?
Is there an argument for doing this upkeep after they've made a decision on Bile?
You can
just so there's no
just put a stop there and think, but I think probably not.
Okay.
Because I think it's more valuable to see what their uh, land is, right?
Yeah, so this is up to 3, which
Yeah.
I know. I'm kind of thinking D&T maybe.
Goblins goes to 3.
Well, we may never know, Jarvis. Either way, I think
Either way,
we
you have these plague engineers, right?
right. It's like I don't know what they're gonna name yet, but either way, I like them. So we definitely want those
I
against
think
the
you want
wild
the
deck.
plows. And
Yeah, Thalia's
Thalia's
gonna
probably
suck.
dog shit. Yeah.
We want plows. Don't want shepherd.
My question to you is:
Um,
do you want Rex Sage in these Aether Vial matchups?
I kind of do. Yeah,
All right.
and like it could be good still if it is goblins with blood moons or something.
Yeah.
And actually, if it's D&T, you definitely want the Rex Age. So
Yeah. I would take out
um,
Pajuka Bog, by the way.
I yeah, I mean it is a card that costs playing engineer, but yeah, I think that
No, it's
sucks.
not.
No.
It's. I mean, like you can claim it is, and then I will tell you that you're being silly.
Okay. What else do we
Um,
recap?
it's kind of tough.
I generally don't like Sylvan on the draw against these creature
I
decks.
agree.
Maybe on the play we can discuss it, but for now, just like shave a crop rotation or something, maybe.
I love crop rotation versus wasteland decks, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So hear me out. What if you cut one safekeeper,
Okay, I don't hate that. Yeah,
and now we have to figure out another cut?
maybe it's like one depth or something.
Nah. If it's goblins, all of your depths are really valuable. Actually,
Okay.
it probably like okay. This might be blasphemy. What if you cut exactly
Nine.
one once upon a time?
Huh. Okay. And I'm kind of not okay with it though. Is the
Okay.
thing.
All right. If you hate it, don't do that. But I
Uh,
would advise against cutting adepts because I think it's just so important. Uh, to
yeah, I
like
mean,
fast combo this person, you know.
if depth is that important, then rotation probably is has to be a 4 still.
Exactly. That's why I don't think you can cut either of those.
So is it just like Caracas?
Yeah. The
Okay,
question is, do you have enough white sources?
I think so.
Well, you have all these flag stones. Never mind. This is absolutely
Yeah,
fine. Yeah, you actually have more white sources than green sources. I think it looks like.
yeah. That's why I don't even play a basic planes because you don't need it that often, and you just need the extra green.
The only matchup where I would want basic planes is like Moon Stompy. I think.
I had a Temple Garden even as the fifth Savannah at one point, but it became the Bayou, which still a green source, so it's okay.
Oh, one thing I was going to tell you is I don't understand why you play 4 1 hits. Who innovated this list? The person who's on the call right now. He's a bit of a mad scientist, I would say. One Dominic Harvey.
I could see that Bernarda shaving a knight, but I find against the creature decks, like knight is often the most important card once you get to that phase of the game.
Yeah, I don't think you can cut Knight. Dom is a little sus. I hear you, Tyler. I hear you.
I'm an imposter.
Always imposters to just vote you off first, no matter what.
Okay, well now we get punished because am I crazy for wanting to ship this back?
No, it's like pretty like if one of those lands was a Mox Diamond, then you can never mulligan. But
Well, of
this
course,
hand
yeah.
is like the second once upon a time is pretty awful.
Woo, okay. Well,
So you definitely keep this hand and you ship a Mox Diamond.
yeah, now we have 2 awful cards.
You have two.
Actually, this is actually kind of nice because we get to free once upon a time and then just hard cast once upon a time, both on turn 1,
Yeah, exactly.
potentially.
I've played a bunch. So this is Goblins. Arid Mesa gives it all away, but
Aha.
that's kind of not great for us. But whatever.
We have a bunch of 1/2s we can reclaim into, you know? I'm keeping the faith.
All right. Dom played Sunpaper Legacy. That's not great, but whatever.
Well, I hate to see this.
Just take Forest, right?
Yeah. And then I think play flag zones and maybe set up rotation.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
That's exactly what I was
fast.
thinking. Yeah.
Stuff. Do we ditch the stage or the forest? Because we're going to be rotating it for a Savannah as well, right?
So
Anyway,
just take the Savannah and discard the Savannah, right?
well, if we're doing that, I want to discard forest so that I have another Savannah back.
So the counterpoint is leaving Force in your deck in case of a weird Blood Moon sequence is better, right?
I feel you. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, I mean, I think it's unlikely to actually matter, but I'm just thinking about the weird corner case where that happens, and we're somehow not dead to this lackey hitting us.
Oh, this is 100% Marxist, right? Like, there's no way it could conceivably be
Well,
anything
depending
else.
on the version, there's probably only two Muxus in the deck.
How do you feel about that? Because it feels to me like if I'm playing goblins, I want to maximize my nut draws as much as I can. But then I guess the counter argument is lackey already is enough of a nut draw that you don't want like lots of sixes.
Yeah, that's the real problem. This, like, I mean, once we saw all of these ports and wastelands, we know they don't have Ancient Tomb, so it's hard to necessarily always, get a 6 drop on a reasonable time frame, right?
Am I crazy for wanting to build goblins with Once Upon a Time and like lackeys and muxes and war and instigators?
I have not tried that, but it also, I mean, it's not like 100% crazy, but I think it's not great because goblins is pretty tight. Like the thing is, putting those cards into your goblins deck actually makes um once your Muxus and Ringleaders worse. I guess
Yeah,
maybe Ringleader's probably the cut then, like the historic versions essentially, but who
or
knows?
like some of the like war chiefs beyond the first or pile drivers or something, just like the
Oh and yeah, Lackey also dies
oh
a lot.
okay. I was gonna say, is there a case for like rotating for Dryad Arbor?
Well, it
But
just
we
gets
can't now.
ported
Yeah.
now, yeah, so you can't.
Uh,
I was going to consider that if there was not a port or a wasteland, but there was, so we just don't do
Anirag.
it. Just hope for no Muxus. Easy game. Okay.
Well,
Well,
hope for a whiff.
You know what? Just once upon a time.
Well, okay.
Okay, fine, 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 fine,
Oh my god.
fine.
Well, no, okay, this is gonna look good on the video at least, assuming this is what he's doing.
You'll be so happy to see how we get sacked out in this game too, right? Fine, Anu, fine. This is some nonsense, all right. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I do agree. I think now are we meant to like try and once for playing engineer?
Yeah, but here's the real problem. You're gonna get Crater Maker imported, right?
I mean, I am. I think I'm just dead.
Yo,
This is
Crystal, what's up?
actual nuts. But
Monkas. See, I told you, all of these historic people casting Moxus on turn 3 really haven't felt the power of turn 1 Lackey, turn 2 Port you Moxus, put in this shit. This is just so much better.
the Pashlik mod, Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Actually, I'm just dead, right? Yeah.
well, they can't cast it this turn, but they should just kill your Mox, right?
They've got a war chief.
They do have a War Chief.
I don't think it's actually lethal, but like I'm dead. Oh, I didn't even get
So now you're dead because
okay.
I think killing the Mox is actually super smart.
Yes. I mean, it
No,
does.
there's no Tabernacle in our deck because this is not lands. This is a depth stack.
I actually was thinking about it because you do have like reclaimers and stuff. And
Yeah, it's pretty bad, I think. Though, like, you don't want to pay the upkeeps on all of your creatures.
okay, so now that we know what this is,
Nothing
want to
changes,
change anything?
right? Like, aren't these cards don't seem appealing to me personally.
Is there a case for like the second safekeeper because it protects our stuff and also is a thing that can trade with Lackey?
Sure, that's reasonable.
With the idea of cutting what then? Also, it protects our plague engineer. And like, maybe shaving a knight is the way to go. As blasphemous as that sounds.
It's a little bit blasphemous, but I'm not opposed.
Because I don't really want to draw more than one necessarily,
Yeah.
and like, they get to that stage of the game.
But anyways, let's just try to not draw them, because I don't think they beat your nut draw. Like,
no. And sometimes just like sword for Lackey is going to be enough to slow them down a lot.
wow, that was these games have been really not very close, one or the other. It's kind of insane.
That's true. Fernando, right? I could have done that, I think. Um, I don't know if engineer is actually enough in that spot given the rest of our hand, but
Yeah, the
because they
problem. Well, so the engineer would certainly be good, but I think we would still lose to it.
Caracas for Marxists.
Clip T 9M. Thank you for the follow. I think he's recording a video, if I had to guess, because I don't think Anurag would personally choose to play goblins by himself. That's my take on the situation.
Oh, Jarvis.
All right. Okay. Okay. If this is what the deck wants to give us, this is what we're gonna take.
Okay, so we.
All joking aside, I think you should actually Zenith Reclaimer on turn 1.
I was going to do that, yeah. So, Forest, Mark's pitching Savannah, and then. Well, actually, do we want Safekeeper? Because if we get Safekeeper, and then we like Engineer, then Engineer again, maybe that is a better way to go.
Good point. All right, just do that instead.
Could help. Could help against yeah.
Nope, it all works out. That works out.
It could help against Pyrokinesis or something too that we're not expecting.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. And I know that most Goblins decks have Pyrokinesis times some number in 75. Especially since Anarch probably saw us playing with the Plague Engineer earlier, so that has to be on his mind, you know?
Okay, question now is, what do we say in the chat to BM him when we play the second Engineer?
We engineered our victory.
Okay.
I'll let you handle that because no, you should say, "Hey, this is Dom. We engineered our victory. GG." Oh, I'm such a jerk. Who's coaching who here? It's a great point. Dom has been known to coach me pretty well.
Does Ether Vial imply no Chromox?
Yeah.
Okay.
I personally think the Vile Goblins deck is a lot better still, but
yeah,
you know.
I agree. I do wonder if there's a way you can shave some of the bad goblins and maximize Muxus anyway.
I tried doing that. I couldn't figure out how to do it because I'm too dumb.
Okay, really so we're going Forest, Mox Pitch, Savannah, right? Yep. And then Zenith for Safekeeper.
Is this a coaching session? No one knows. It may or may not be a coaching session.
Am I the coacher or the coachee?
Are you the tutor or the tutee?
And what type of tutor am I? Am I an enlightened tutor? Am I a worldly tutor?
You're a burning tutor. Oh shit, did I mix up my paradigms?
Probably. Are we confirming Safekeeper? Because I'm thinking let's say it's Wasteland or whatever, we get up by Wastelanded, and then it's kind of hard to actually protect the Engineer past that point.
Yep.
You still like Safekeeper?
Oh, hold on. What did you say? No, I'd probably still get Safekeeper. Plague Engineer on Avatar is your favorite. That buys a turn. Whoa, you trying to advertise for Dom's coaching here, John? Or Jack? I said the wrong name.
I do offer coaching, and my rate usually is $30 an hour. For whatever you like.
I guess I'll let it slide.
You can throw more money at me, Travis, if you like. That is acceptable.
Time to slam our plan. This has some real Witch's Vengeance vibes from earlier. I assume you were watching that as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
We'll have fun talking about that tomorrow as well.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Like for
Yeah.
as much as the format is kind of silly, I've actually enjoyed covering the games. So now, if we get pulled in on our peak, are we wanting a response? Or are we hoping just to draw the
I would
land
just hope to
naturally?
draw a land, then if you brick, you can still cast once, you know?
Yeah, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
Alright.
not bad. So are we wanting now?
I think so, because a land drop is valuable, right?
Yes.
Those are not the lands I'm excited about.
No.
I would still take Dryad Arbor, actually, right?
Is it maybe step? Because then we can cast like swords and something in the same
Oh,
turn.
sure.
Because we currently don't have rotation or reclaimer or knight. So, excuse me. Um, so with that in mind, like I don't think depth is really where we want to be here.
No, not right now, no. I mean,
And then Arbor,
I would only want to put depths in my hand if I knew my top card was Thespian Stage or Rotation.
yeah. I mean, I don't hate Arbor either, but I think actually step is.
So the one problem with Arbor is what happens if they just Pyrokinesis our board?
Well,
Then
then
you
we
sack
stack.
Arbor. Oh no, maybe you should take Arbor then, actually.
Well, in that case, it's just the same as getting step, right? Because
Sure, except you leave Step in your deck later versus leaving Arbor in your deck later, right?
yeah, I mean, I also have some interest in having a white source in case my diamond gets created
Okay,
or something.
sure. Someone was suggesting Knight. I don't think you can take Knight or
No,
Depths here ever. Yeah.
no, it has to be a mana source.
No,
Um,
I think you talked me into taking Step. And I would just target the Plague Engineer.
am I attacking with the safekeeper? Like, how worried am I of like, something bizarre happening where I get
No,
lackey?
I would just attack. The reason I think you have to attack is I think every point's going to matter because this is a game where we're playing like a normal rock deck, essentially. You know? I mean, Pyrokinesis is not even the end of the world, right?
No, but I mean, pyrokinesis is why, like, that's what we lose to, and that's why we need a land.
Yeah, that's why we took a land there, essentially, is because of
Like,
Pyrokinesis.
basically, all I want to draw for the rest of this game are lands.
Yeah. Hopefully useful lands and not useless lands.
All lands are beautiful, Travis.
Who paid you to say that?
Big land lobby.
Who? Well, they're taking it slow.
Bye. Okay.
Okay, so I think you still play Engineer here, right?
Agreed.
So, and the major reason for that is it locks out Goblin Crater Maker. Not like that.
No. Undo, Anurag.
Undo. I basically think this is like close to unbeatable for their deck unless they draw like 2 Pyrokinesis in a row. You know?
That sounds right to me. And now we're attacking again?
Yep.
Like, are there any weird 2-drops that could mess
Mob
up our day?
Funkies cannot block.
Accurate.
I just wanted to throw out that one because a lot of people might not know the card Mob Funkies. But it has been historically played in Goblins.
I I'm not going to fire it off yet because if we lose, it just seems so bad. But we've got that one in the chamber ready to go.
You got it ready to go. uh, damn, Pokimoki got me so good.
Tyler, you know me. Of course I drew best possible. What do you expect? Like, have you not been paying attention the past 18 months?
Oh, I watched you. You remember when you tricked me in putting Wayward Sword Tooth into this amulet deck and it wasn't good? And you fainted, so I had to play the rest of the match by myself?
I do remember that. That was great.
Great?
So this is matron for, I'm guessing, Starfire?
They don't. Most of us don't play Tarfire.
No? Is there some weird, like, damage dealing goblin? Like ETB? Oh, Chain Whirler. Okay. Oh, fuck. This could be bad. Oh, no.
Whatever. This is the world we live in, right?
Oh, so?
There's no point in sacking lands that doesn't do anything.
Nah.
All right.
Are we really going to lose this game? Oh, my God. Maybe this is why we had to play the knight. Although I guess with the 7 play, it doesn't really... Like, you can't protect the board at that point.
Right. And honestly, you're actually still fine if they have no good follow-up, right?
Yes.
Just play your knight, I guess, and say go.
Is there any case for, like... I'm thinking about munitions expert as a possible thing that could engineer, but I guess we have a little flexibility with that.
Hmm. Uh, Expert doesn't do much, I think, especially with the plow. I mean, if you get pyrokinesis, then a goblin plus an expert can take out your knight, but I don't think you should play around that. But they would have to have another goblin to play around that. Oh, also, yeah, maybe we should have attacked, right?
Why? Oh, they have a 1/1? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want it to be where like I get forced into using the sword from the chain whirler somehow. Like let's say one of them gets tarfied and then now
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I'm pretty sure the list you're playing against doesn't have Tarfire, but I understand the hesitation.
yeah. I think actually the most likely way we win this game now is via depth, possibly.
We'll see what happens. Like, we still haven't gotten Pyrokinesis.
No.
I mean, now I don't think you're really allowed to attack ever again with those engineers, right?
Yeah.
Also, Bowen has a good point. Typing that message was a big jinx. Yeah, we're giving them time to find Pyrokinesis, which is the real problem, I think.
Also, like the vial is creeping up towards Marxus potentially, which like if I still have the 2 engineers, it's not a big deal, but even if just one of them dies, that now is the problem.
Oh, I got fooled with my. Oh, after this match, I'll open a chest Legacy Council. You did fool with your credits. Your Imperial credits, I guess? I mean, I watched The Mandalorian, and he's still accepting Imperial credits as payment occasionally.
Okay, that's waste.
Hmm.
So depth plan probably off the table.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. Like, I don't know. Night is sort of good versus Wasteland, right?
Yeah, I think you're right that I have to start attacking. But okay,
Okay, so you could just get. Wait, do we have a second safekeeper in our deck?
we do because I said we should board it into block a Lahi.
Okay, just go find that then, right?
Yeah, I mean it's still a little a bit of an issue versus like one of our lands gets wasted, but then actually we don't even need to attack with a knight, right? We can just
Yeah, we can just slowly build up, right?
yeah, I think I like just doing this.
They
And
like
then,
that deck only plays one chain roller, generally speaking. So
yeah, it's like so tough to cast, right? So
we'll look at their mana base, right? Like,
actually, so I cast this for one, which now if they have a response, like I would rather have another knight instead. I'm
oh, so you
assuming.
think you should have just done it for 3 and see what happened? God, the
Wow.
Sajuri step is out of our deck. All right, this sucks. All right, this is still fine. Do you just get Reclaimer then, actually?
I wish this was a knight so bad.
Yeah, I goofed it. Clearly. Well, it's not 0, right? Because you get to leave up Plow. That's what I was thinking about, but now I clearly would rather have a 3. Yeah, maybe. I think just getting Reclaimer is probably better now, right?
Yeah, and we can't attack anymore.
So
I mean,
you might
we
actually want
could.
to waste them, keeping them off of Muxus Hardcast.
It only does have return because the vial's just going to keep
Okay.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just delete that message, Dom. This is just jinxing us.
See, I actually do wonder if we were meant to play the knight on that turn. So we played a
Sure.
second engineer,
Sure.
but
That's me dying slowly and laugh crying.
I guess if they just have nothing, we might be in it still.
Yeah, game 2 was kind of nonsense, to be fair, but this game we definitely could have done things differently, you know?
So what am I? Okay, well, okay, this is probably just Muxus, right?
I mean, if it isn't, we're probably happy,
There's a
right?
pregnant pause. I guess there's no reason to hold the land, but like, this is either no Muxus or Anurag is about to slam the Muxus and he's being very excitable about it. So,
Or did
a
you
polarized
consider
range.
Anurag felt like soul rolling us?
That too, that too.
So the only thing I was thinking about this game was I wonder if holding one of the engineers just as a flame tongue copy was better, but it's that seems so maniacal, right?
Yeah.
Because like we didn't have infinite resources to work with, right? We only had 3 lands essentially for most of it and 2 engineers, you
As
know.
it turns out, well, the thing is, let's say I'd taken the Dryad Arbor. I'm not sure how the timing lines up with if that would have got chain whirled before it got used properly, but not sure. Okay.
Spoiler, I don't think our opponent has Muxus in hand.
So
That
what am I
actually
knighting for?
narrows the range quite a bit. What it could be is hardcast pyrokinesis, actually.
Okay. With that in mind, should I be knighting? I mean, yes, because it grows.
Well, oh yeah, yeah, you definitely should knight because if they have pyrokinesis, they'll kill your knight anyways, right?
Well,
Though
no,
the
because
counterpoint is they can't kill your knight if you just untap, right?
correct.
So I guess the read is actually pyrokinesis, right? That's the only thing that makes sense.
I mean, or they just are playing out the land because why not? Like they're flooded. I guess the question then is, what is that last card? Like, it could be Vile or something, but again,
It's also their turn 6, and they played a land every turn.
yeah.
I don't know. I think I would probably just untap. I don't think tutoring once matters that much.
I think it does just because we give them a lot of time, and if we're trying to assemble like stage past depth, for example, I want to be able to get a wasteland and then like be able to force the issue. Um,
Okay. Yeah, that's
which
fine.
so buy you down because they can always wasteland the step if they're really so inclined. So get wasteland, right?
Yeah.
And then
Just get waste and untap, obviously. I
yeah,
think.
actually, oh yeah, I just paid the reclaimer, so I can't do
Yeah.
that. So they, in theory, they should waste the step.
Yeah, not totally maniacal once we drew the knight. Okay, this is fine.
You don't have that. They're going to port, and then do we reclaim it in response to port?
So I think the way you do it is
Oh,
you waste their waste when they go to port, right?
yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, Tony
So
Forest, that makes sense. So now I waste the waste.
yep.
And I get stage.
Yeah, you get stage. All right, now we just activate reclaimer.
Actually, if we now go on to win this game, then that message is even more BM. You realize that?
I didn't tell you to send it. I told you to delete it. Remember that?
I'm just asking if you realize. I'm not blaming you or anything. I'm just pointing out.
I don't know. It sounded like you were blaming me, Dom.
I would never. Okay, well, no. Is there a world where they just don't cast Marxist and want to hold out waste instead? Probably not, right?
No, because Muxus plus Sling Gang is probably lethal most of the time, right?
So, gonna fade.
Yeah, our Plague Engineer's got Pyrokinesis, G Dire. Does that make sense? Chain War killed our Sylvan Safekeeper, then they got Pyrokinesis.
Actually, we
What? They had it? Oh
is
my
this a bluff?
god.
I don't know. Is this a bluff? Come on, buddy. No, it's not. Okay, well, this could be real bad.
That's
So
probably...
do we sort anything now?
I'm thinking about it. God damn, that's really fucking annoying. No, I think I would just go see what they get, right?
Maybe a haste creature? Or can they Muxus again?
I think if they Muxus again, that's actually maybe going to force us to kill Swing Gang in response.
Possibly, yeah.
But we'll see what they do. I don't think responding here makes any sense, right? And I don't know, for what it's worth, this is why I was sort of pro you having more Plague Engineers than like plows in these matchups, because I think you need like a hammer instead of like
That's true. I mean, my starting point is I think I want 4 plows, just because like against other night decks, against
sure.
Delver. I like them against Delver a lot. Maybe that's incorrect. Maybe I need like a third engineer as a starting point.
Yeah, that's my gut, because like you saw what happened this game, and I don't think that's actually uncommon for this game to play out the way it did, right?
No.
Because like the problem is we couldn't turn the corner fast enough because our deck, like we spent time developing engineers, which you know, does lock them out for a fair amount of time, but it's not the end all be all. But then like one matron later, like everything fell apart, right?
Yeah, like obviously, if this swords with a third engineer, then we're money this game. Like we just draw all three of our best cyber card.
Yeah,
Um, and no, I feel like again we could have played this game differently. I think,
yeah.
and yeah, this is going to be great content for Underdog's video though.
Yeah, we chose to go down a certain road, and it worked out kind of poorly. Why is Field of the Dead not main? My deck doesn't even like Dom's deck doesn't even have Field of the Dead. I don't think he thinks is good enough.
Because you literally never trigger a field. Like I don't think that's how games of Legacy really work. Like sometimes in lands, and that's a very specific setup and also a massive corner case.
We matron for matron, huh?
So this is like training matrons into like a chieftain or something, perhaps.
It might be chain matrons into Patchwork Mons for lethal. But let's see what happens.
I mean, if that's what it is, it's not immediately lethal, right? Because I can then swords the Slingang in response.
Right. Well, let's see what they do. But the problem is Prospector can actually like work as a sack outlet to like dome you for a bunch as well.
Yeah, I pricing that in. I'm just thinking like, because with this board, doubling up on those effects is probably lethal, but maybe one of them is not. Maybe that's optimistic.
Right.
If it is a chieftain or like a war chief, do we prowl that? If it's chieftain, we probably have to.
I think if it's War Chief, you probably also have to, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think if it's literally either of those two, you actually.
Oh, this is munitions expert? Okay. So
Okay.
that's 9. So currently this is 9. If we sort something down to 8, then is there a way I can knight for more? I don't think there is, right?
You can knight for a fetch, right?
But that gets this to 8.
Oh, that gets it to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. That's unpleasant. I guess it happens then, right? Well, hold on. Do we want to kill the Sling Gang in response?
Well, if this is the line they're going towards, do we kill Slingang or do we kill something else? Like, does it just have to be Slingang? Probably,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
it has to be. I think you have to kill Sling Gang right now if you're going to do that then. Yeah. So I think what happened last turn was they actually did have the Muxus, and they chose not to cast it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, is there any chance that they just don't do that?
I don't know. It seems like a mistake to me, but I obviously don't know for sure, right?
I'm going to look at the deck list one more time just to see if there's any convoluted thing we can do.
Doesn't look like it.
I mean, it's worth noting we can get Dryad Arbor
Oh,
with our Knight. Like, is that worth?
but you're not going to block with it, right?
Not now, but maybe next turn. Like, if I
Well,
draw untapped land.
So the counterpoint to that is I think you'd rather have in your deck because on the off chance that you need to fetch it to block, but you also need a mana source, then you don't want to do that, right? But so we're going to 13, and we have to block the Muxus. Actually, I think we're just dead next turn, even through a
Well,
Merit Wage, right? Oh no,
well,
no,
we,
no, no, no! The Sun Gang's gone. Never mind. Never mind.
yeah. So now I'm knighting, right? There's no reason not to knight, but
Yeah, but I don't think you get Dried Arbor, right? Like, what does getting Dried Arbor do?
right. I mean, it could open me up to like losing to
Like a random Gem
some.
Palm Incinerator or something, right?
Yeah. Um,
So what you could do, I didn't do the math on this. What happens if you get a fetch land?
I don't hate that.
So no,
Yeah.
let's just count to make sure that doesn't kill us, right? Three,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is what I'm counting.
Hmm.
Besides the muxes, because I assume we blocked the muxes, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9, right? But we're
Yeah.
taking 5,
So
so
we go
we'll
to
be
so
at
so we go to 13. In the event that we get to block three things, we go to 12,
yeah.
and then um, we block. Well, the thing with that is that like the two biggest things are already accounted for, and everything else is just one at this point anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know that that actually helps, but let's see if the one damage could make the difference. So we go to 13. Next turn, um, we go to, let's say we don't hit, we go to 12.
Mm-hmm.
We make Marit Lage, we block Muxus, Goblin, we take 6. So we go to 6, and then if it's a removal spell, then we still blocked Muxus, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that actually hurts us under any
Yeah,
circumstance,
so
right?
I think getting a fetch is correct, yeah.
Okay, so we get Windswept Heath.
Yep.
Knight dies.
So yeah, I think holding onto that plow actually worked out well for us.
And we don't get Dried Arbor now, right?
No, I think you want to save it because
Actually,
of
no, maybe we do, because if we don't hit,
no. So
then
the problem with that is if you do that and they have gem palm and you don't draw a land, then you're screwed, right?
if it was Gem Palm, wouldn't they have killed this at some point? Like, they can't have drawn it this turn, so it must have been in their hand, and they just never cycled it or never did anything else.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't think it costs you anything to just wait and see what you draw, right?
I mean, it in theory takes a bad land out of the deck.
But I don't. I'm not sure. I guess I think it's unlikely to matter as well.
Okay, I mean, I'm fine to just not do it.
Yeah. All right.
Right, Marit Lage, check.
Yeah, this play is literally forced. We don't have any other options anymore. You know.
You.
All right.
You're up. I want him to tap the Bylon 6 again just to showboat us. Not to actually put in a Muxus. No! Wow! Why? Jeez.
All right. I'm sorry, Dom. I definitely we definitely could have played that differently though.
Yes.
And so one thing about this, and I'm gonna say this. This is why I think live coaching of matches is not really the best thing to do, generally speaking. Although it's like fun to do, I don't think it's the best use of time, and it like leads to a lot of awkwardness like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, it's only fun and it's useful as an exercise. I think the first part of this, where you're kind of like going over replays and stuff, if you're just focusing on coaching and self improvement, I think that is a much better way to do things.
Right.
But in terms of like streaming content or whatever, then that was pretty good if I do say so myself.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'll probably call it there.
Yeah, sorry about that. But
No,
before we go, it's time to start the giveaway. And I know you're definitely here for that.
oh yeah.
All right. So I'm going to leave this live for a bit. If and only if you win this giveaway will you play the tournament, join the giveaway. Otherwise, please do not join the giveaway because I think that is just, disrespectful to people who want to play the tournament, And I assume you want to type in that thing, Dom.
Yes.
Yo, what's up? Ryan, thank you. Onion Lotus, that's the way to do it. Alright. I will log on to open a chest for Mr. Legacy Council. Okay, fair enough, it's Frosty. As long as you play, if you win, then it works out. But, Dom, thanks for, hanging out. I know we go way back. It's been way back by this point,
Yeah, we're both old. I mean, you were already old at the time that I met you, but
know.
now I also am old, and yeah, it's
See, I actually occasionally think about that tournament because that's the first time I met Autumn, and little did we know Autumn was going to be the best out of all of us. Back then, we didn't know, right?
Well, to be fair, because this was the PT after BFC, which was like their breakout tournament.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
Which was tough because like when you at the next one, if you kind of bust out, then it feels really bad, and you wonder there's like an imposter syndrome that comes on. But yeah, it's like me and Autumn from the same small town, basically heading to not a smallish town, small city, heading to the Pro Tour, and now a lot has happened since then. So it's been wild.
Yeah, BFC. I think Autumn went 9-1 with like white green morphs
with Arcane Riptides and no Gideons, which was the real like controversial discussion point there.
Autumn makes a lot of really weird deck building choices. That's all I'll say. I don't really understand them, but props to Autumn for making them work. I do not operate the same way Autumn does personally. And that's okay. That's why Magic is beautiful, right?
I mean, cool. you make different deck building choices than I do, as do most people. So
Yeah, most people do not do things the same way as other people.
No, but yeah, that PT in Atlanta was the first time I met you. Also, the first time I met the Scots, like Stephen Murray, Martin Clement.
Yeah.
Also, just a lot of other people. First PT as well, and only PT in paper for me. So yeah, it's a big trip for a lot of reasons. First time in the US and Canada, so that was cool. Got to go to Vancouver before that, which was amazing. Yeah, that was an awesome trip. Still really remember that one fondly. Yeah, let's. I'll let you finish off the stream. We'll reconvene to plan tomorrow's rebroadcast, I guess, for the Invitational.
Co-stream is how most people put it. But yes. I would like you to look at this card. The Natus the Warweaver, which I opened in a treasure chest. It's a legendary creature spider. And I don't know, it makes all creatures attack each combat if able. What a card! Why does this exist? I did not open a Muxus.
What set is this even?
This is a treasure. Yeah, I think technically this card is probably from like Commander 20 or something.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. You don't need permission to co-stream or restream. A lot of people are doing it, and I think Wizards encourages it. Commander 2018, that's what it was.
A lot of people are doing it. We will be the best stream in English, so whatever that's worth.
Okay. One more minute for the giveaway to end it. And we'll see who gets free entry in 1 minute. So. And for those of you who are wondering, I will not be commentating the Swiss portion of that tournament, but I will be commentating the top 8. I hope Dom makes it with his sweet white-green deck. I'm pretty sure he's going to play it. I have a feeling.
I mean, I think so. Like, there's not much time before it, and also, like, what am I going to switch on to that's going to give me better results, right? So,
right.
Also, just a fun deck to play. Pretty sweet.
Yep.
So, I'll fire it off, I think.
Anyways, drum roll, please. Let's see. I'm hitting enter. Wait. Why did it say I'm...
Rigged!
How did that happen? I didn't even type that phrase in.
Such a scam.
Hold on. I have to figure out why it broke. Alright. I guess I have to redo it. Alright. How did I do that? Oh, I typed exclamation NRG lowercase for the link. That's why. And it doesn't have an exact case matching. Otherwise, it should exclude that. But all right, try again. I'm sorry, everyone. Really sorry. That was awkward. I didn't realize it would do that. It counted exclamation point NRG as an entry. So
I mean,
re-enter.
just, just the exclamation point should have been enough, right? Unless it's a
Yeah,
weird
exactly.
fake
No, but
character.
it's looking for substrings that also have the word NRG in it. Then is what I'm taking away from it.
Okay.
But it shouldn't do that. It should be like. No, I don't want it, Ryan. No, don't. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, the regular expression needs an update. That was really funny actually. Like, all joking aside, that was just a funny moment, you know? Do you agree? You still here? Ferendo, you didn't miss it. You can still enter. Oh, you missed the games. Yes. Yo, Dom, you still alive? Or did you faint
Oh,
again?
hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
Did I win?
we don't know yet. Alright, I'm gonna give it 30 more seconds because I ruined it the first time because I didn't know I was ruining it. And alright. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy giveaway! And it's Ferendo! Wow, I wait for Ferendo to show up and he wins the raffle. How lucky is that for Ferendo? Pretty lucky, right, Dom?
I think it's rigged still. I think we should redo this again until I win.
No, we're not redoing it for a third time.
Travis, it's redoing it for a second time. Just make that clear.
God damn it, you're so British. Anyways, all joking aside, thanks for showing up, Dom. I hope maybe we can do this again at some point, you know, in a few weeks or whatever. And you know,
What time are we back in here for the restream tomorrow?
Okay, it starts at 12, but let's say like 12:30. You know.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, because you know there's always like a bunch of stuff in between.
Yeah.
So me and Dom will be back here at 12:30 tomorrow. We'll be going over the historic stream for a few hours at least. I don't know how long. Probably when I get tired of it or have to go or whatever, then I'll call it quits. But we'll be doing that tomorrow. So come hang out then, and you know, I'm gonna see if someone else is streaming Legacy right now. Probably someone else. Control F Legacy, right? Alright, I guess the Legacy pit is literally playing Legacy. Yeah.